Chapter 92. For safety's sake, Gu Lingqing drove there himself. Apart from her, he only brought an attendant named Qinji. Tangqian village was much further away than Bai Ye had imagined. Gu Lingqing did not let her drive. He only asked her to sleep in the back. 12 hours after he and Qinji took turns driving, they entered a mountain road, and the car could not go in at all. There was no information on the GPS, and there was no signal on the phone. Gu Lingqing stopped the car. He frowned as he looked at the endless mountain range around him. Didn't they say that all the roads are open? Is Governor Qing a fake municipal government? Gu Lingqing was furious. Qinji lowered his head and did not say anything. Bai Ye got out of the car and walked to Gu Lingqing's side. She held Gu Lingqing's hand. This is a common phenomenon. A year ago, our hospital organized a physical examination for impoverished areas. They said that there were roads, but after we went there, not only were there no roads, but there was also no electricity. When Gu Lingqing heard Bai Ye's gentle voice, his temper that was about to explode was slightly appeased. He did not want to lose his temper in front of her. We're in the military. We can't control the civil affairs. We're humans, not gods. Bai Ye smiled. Gu Lingqing's gaze softened. He ordered Qinji, Tangqian village belongs to Zhenghai town, right? Go to town and find a guide. We'll come back later. Yes. Qinji drove back to town. I have a suggestion. It's already late. Why don't we stay in town and ask the people in town? Maybe we'll find new clues. Bai Ye said. Okay. They drove for half an hour back to town. Bai Ye and Gu Lingqing asked for a room. They used fake IDs. Qinji stayed in the room alone. After they checked in, they ate at a small restaurant next to the hotel. The lady boss was very enthusiastic and smiled the whole time. Madam, I want to ask you about Tangqian village, Bai Ye asked gently. As soon as the lady boss heard the 3 words Tangqian village, her smile froze. She glanced outside and said in a low voice, Miss, you're not from around here, right? The 3 words Tangqian village can't be casually mentioned here. Why? Bai Ye didn't understand. 5 years ago, all 108 residents of Tangqian village disappeared overnight. Ever since then, the place has been haunted. Some people even saw ghosts wandering around at night. They were flying. It's terrifying, said the lady boss. Gu Lingqing cast an indifferent glance at the lady boss. He did not believe in ghosts and gods at all. Do you know why they disappeared? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. Rumor has it that he was eaten by a ghost. We don't dare to go there either. Shivering, the lady boss didn't want to say anything more, so she turned and went back into the kitchen. Qinji, Gu Lingqing called. Qinji looked at Gu Lingqing and listened attentively. Tomorrow, go to the town government and find out how many people there are in Tangqian village. Find out if anyone is studying or working outside, ordered Gu Lingqing. All right. I think this matter is very suspicious. What do you think? Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye. It's impossible to believe in ghosts and gods. It's all psychological. I think there are still people in the village, so some people will see the so-called ghosts. I suggest that we don't get a tour guide this time. We'll look at the map and go there secretly, suggested Bai Ye. Qinji, you don't have to go tomorrow. Go and check the population tonight. Take the map and don't alert anyone, ordered Gu Lingqing. Yes. After dinner, Gu Lingqing and Bai Ye strolled around the area. They wanted to buy some fruits and ask around. The roads in Zhenghai town were very dilapidated. There were many places that were missing pieces, but no one repaired them. The people here closed early. Most of the shops were closed. The ones that were still open were the night stalls. There were no street lights on the roads in town, let alone in the countryside. Baya saw a fruit shop across the road. It was probably stocking up. She walked over quickly and stepped into a hole. She paused for a moment. Gu Lingqing immediately hugged her waist and pulled her into his arms. He asked worriedly, "Did you sprain your ankle?" "No." "Gu Lingqing, when were the roads here repaired?" asked Baya. "I'm not sure. I'll get someone to check. Ask the locals." Baya pulled Gu Lingqing's hand away and went to the fruit stall. Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed. He followed behind Baya to the fruit stall. Baya bought a lot of fruits from the stall owner. She asked casually, "Boss, when did you repair the road here?" "Roads?" "About 10 years ago," said the owner. 10 years ago, the roads were seriously damaged. If it wasn't shoddy construction, it should have been run over by heavy trucks for a long time, right? Baya peeled an orange, ate a piece, broke it in half, and handed it to Gu Lingqing. She looked at Gu Lingqing strangely. Gu Lingqing frowned slightly. He hated eating oranges because they were sour. However, it was Baya who gave it to him. He broke off a piece and threw it into his mouth. He chewed it for a while and swallowed it. Although he only chewed it for a while, it was so sour that his stomach hurt. He stopped eating and held the half of the orange in his palm. Baya looked at him again. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. He had an urge to kiss her. She gave him the sour orange on purpose. Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple bobbed, but he held it in. The owner explained, "There's a cement factory in the town next to ours. They occasionally pass through here. Oh, by the way, I heard that the weird Tangchen village is in your town." Baya said. The owner's expression darkened. "That place is haunted. People disappear for no reason. It's very scary. There's been a lot of news recently. It said that the residents committed suicide because they got sick. It also said that the previous mayor buried them, and someone gave him tens of millions of gold," Baya said with a smile. "Forget it. That's nonsense. We don't believe it. Let me tell you, the officials said that all 108 residents committed suicide, and the place was sealed. In fact, the owner looked to the right, then to the left, and said, 'I have a friend from Tangchen village. He didn't die at all. He's alive and well.'" Baya and Gu Lingqing looked at each other. "Can you tell me your friend's current address?" Baya asked. The owner looked at Baya and Gu Lingqing defensively. "I don't think that's a good idea." Gu Lingqing took out 1,000 yuan from his wallet and handed it to the owner. The owner happily gave his friend's address. Baya, at night. Lying on the bed, neither Baya nor Gu Lingqing fell asleep. She was thinking about the whole case, tossing and turning. Suddenly, Gu Lingqing covered her body. "What's wrong?" Baya asked hoarsely. "Do something." Gu Lingqing kissed her lips. "Condom." Baya went to the small box on the bedside table. Chapter 93. I won't do it inside. Don't take the medicine, it's bad for your body. If I do, I'll marry you anyway and we'll have a baby, Gu Lingqing said with certainty as he kissed her again and again. Baya was very guarded against this. Then we'll have another baby after we get married. Okay. Gu Lingqing could see her stubbornness. For the sake of her health, he took the condom from the bedside table. Baya was quite touched by his thoughtfulness. Hence, she was very emotional. She wrapped her arms around his strong waist and pulled him to her side. Gu Lingqing wasn't a person who only cared about his own enjoyment. He locked his eyes on her expression, observing every minute change. In the end, he kissed her lips, warming her to the point that she almost drowned in his tenderness, early in the morning. They were all up and eating breakfast at the restaurant next door. "Chief, I stole the information from Tangqian village yesterday. There are indeed 108 people in Tangqian village," Chenji reported. "Either the 108 people who died were false reports, or there are people who aren't from Tangqian village. We already know that there are still people alive in Tangqian village. After breakfast, we'll set off for Tangqian village. Let's observe the situation first," Gu Lingqing said. They set off after breakfast. They drove to a place where cars couldn't enter and walked. Chenji and Gu Lingqing each carried a big backpack. Baiya carried hers. Coincidentally, she was wearing running shoes, so she walked with them. After a while, there was no road ahead. A mountain blocked their way. Gu Lingqing looked at the map again. "What's wrong?" Baiya asked worriedly. Gu Lingqing frowned. "This mountain isn't on the map. If the town government can even fake a map, then there's really nothing that can't be faked," Baiya said helplessly. "Let's go over this mountain first." Gu Lingqing turned around and looked at Baiya. "Xiaoya, go to the car with Chenji first. I'll go look for him alone. Don't worry about me. I'm from Backpacker Network and I often participate in mountaineering activities. Although I'm not as good as you guys, I'll be fine." Baiya wanted to fight alongside him. "Alright, let's go together." The mountain was taller than they had imagined. After climbing over one mountain, there was actually another one. After climbing 3 mountains in one go, they finally saw the small mountain village at the top of the mountain. That village is Tangqian village. Baiya looked at the mountain village not far away. "I don't know. This village is not on the map. Let's go and take a look," Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. The 3 of them came down from the mountain. This mountain village is really isolated from the rest of the world. People can't come in, and it's very difficult for people in the mountains to go out. If there's really a virus here, it won't spread outside. Baiya looked around and said. Gu Lingqing stepped on a wooden plank which had begun to rot. Vaguely, the 3 words, Tangqian village, could be seen on the broken wooden plank. "We found it." Gu Lingqing looked around. Because no one had worked for a long time, the place that used to be a field was covered with weeds. Even the corners of the houses were covered with weeds. The whole mountain village was eerily quiet. "I really can't see any signs of human habitation in this village. Where are the 108 villagers buried?" Chenji asked suspiciously. Baiya pointed to the direction of the foot of the mountain. Chenji looked in the direction that Baiya was pointing. They didn't have individual graves. Maybe they dug a big pit and poured gasoline over it. All 108 people were buried together. They didn't even have a tombstone, Baiya explained sadly. "How do you know that they were buried at the foot of the mountain? Do you know feng shui?" Chenji asked in puzzlement. "I don't, but my mother likes these things. She would let me read the Book of Changes to her. This place is surrounded by mountains, and the village is located in the east. The 108 villagers committed mass suicide. The people who dealt with the bodies wouldn't deliberately choose their own graves. They would follow the principle of proximity. However, they were worried that the resentment of the 108 villagers wouldn't dissipate after their deaths. So, the place where they were buried wouldn't be too ridiculous. It faces the south, with the back of the mountain and the water." Baiya pointed to a lake. "The graves should be there. The north side is against the mountain, and the south side is facing the lake." Chenji felt a chill down his spine. Creak. He shivered and watched Gu Lingqing walk into a house. "Chief, you should inform us when you open the door. It's too scary." Chenji followed Gu Lingqing in. The musty smell that no one had lived in for a long time assaulted their faces. It brought with it an eerie and terrifying feeling. Baya looked at the table. There was a pot of tea and a few teacups on the table. One of the teacups was filled with water. Chenji's pupils dilated because he was afraid. He pointed to the cup on the table and said, "How can there be water in such a small cup? This little water will dry up in a week." Ghost. Baya remembered the story of the ghost ship. There were many ships floating on the sea. The hulls looked broken and worn, as if the ships had been floating for hundreds of years. However, when the sailors boarded the ship, they found the coffee that had just been poured. The coffee was steaming. They said that the ghosts of the sailors were here. Everyone said that this was a ghost ship. This village exuded the aura of ghosts. Gu Lingqing opened the lid of the kettle and found water in it. "Chenji, go to the kitchen and see if there's any food," Gu Lingqing ordered. He and Baya walked into the bedroom. There was a quilt on the bed. The quilt was folded neatly like a piece of tofu. Gu Lingqing found a strand of long hair on the pillow. Chenji rushed in with an ashen face and said, "There's food in the kitchen. Plain porridge. There's rice in the rice jar. There's a ghost." "Chenji, calm down. It's not a ghost. Someone lives here, and it's a woman." Gu Lingqing analyzed calmly. "I think that's why people said they saw ghosts here." Baya agreed with Gu Lingqing's view. "How can you tell if it's a person? Or if it's really a ghost? This place is so desolate, who would want to live here?" Chenji said anxiously. "This place hasn't been developed. The road is still muddy. Besides, no one comes here, so the footprints on the ground are very clear. If it's a ghost, it shouldn't have feet." After Gu Lingqing's analysis, Chenji really found many small footprints on the ground. "Chenji, go to the grave and see if there are any clues. Be careful," Gu Lingqing said. "Yes." Chenji went to the other side of the lake with a pale face. He was a special forces soldier. He couldn't say that he didn't dare. Gu Lingqing and Baya were checking in the room. Suddenly, a sharp light flashed in Gu Lingqing's eyes. He opened the window alertly. A woman flashed by. Gu Lingqing's pupils dilated. Shock and sharpness flashed in his eyes. Without thinking, he jumped out of the window. Baya ran to the window and saw that Gu Lingqing had disappeared from her sight. Chapter 94. Baya didn't want to be a burden. They were not there, so she searched the room alone. There was no problem in the room. She went back to the bedroom. She looked around. She squatted down and looked under the bed. It was dark under the bed. She couldn't see anything clearly. She used the flashlight to look under the bed. She found that there was a floor under the bed. She knocked on the floor, making a hollow sound. Baya's heart flashed with excitement. There was a tunnel. Maybe there was something new. She opened the floor and found a staircase leading down. She didn't dare to go down. She was worried that there was something down there that could hurt people. She wanted to wait for Gu Lingqing and the others to come back before going in. She waited and waited. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, a figure jumped in. Baya saw a strange woman. The woman frowned. She looked at Baya, then looked at the hole and ordered, "Go in." Baya didn't want to go in. The woman took out a gun. "I don't want to hurt you, but if the gun goes off, don't blame me." Baya looked at the gun. She could only go in. The woman grabbed Baya's phone and put it in her pocket. She tied Baya to a wooden pillar and sealed Baya's mouth with a rubber band. She started to pack her things. Baya saw that she stuffed hundreds of thousands in cash, a few guns, and some simple clothes in her backpack. She carried the backpack on her back and looked at Baya. From your clothes, eyes, and personality, you are not a soldier. The woman judged. Baya looked at her and didn't say anything. The woman raised the corner of her mouth. I came here 4 years ago and met Tang Xiaozhou. Tang Xiaozhou is the son of the village chief and the only survivor of Tangqian village. It was a coincidence that on the day of the accident, a little girl from another village came to visit her grandfather. So, the people who murdered them didn't know that there was a survivor in Tangqian village. Murder. Baiyo was shocked and frowned. But because her mouth was taped shut, she couldn't speak. Don't worry, I'll tell you everything I know. The people in this village are very simple. One day, they dug up a chest with thousands of gold bars in it. Over 1,000. She heard Gu Lingqing say 100 sticks. It was revealed on the internet that Governor Qing has 100 of them at home. In fact, that's not all he took. He probably gave some away, but he doesn't have more than 200 of them, the woman continued. Baiya stared at the woman in disbelief. The woman smiled as if she had seen through him. You must want to know where the other gold bars went, right? Baiya nodded. I don't know either. Tang Xiaozhou's father went to find Governor Qing, who was the mayor back then. Governor Qing must have brought some people with him. I can tell you clearly that this kind of massacre is definitely not something that Governor Qing can do. In other words, Governor Qing was not the only one involved in the massacre of the village. According to the golden ratio, there were at least 5 of them. Moreover, there must be officials who were more powerful than Governor Qing at that time. By the way, there was also a treasure map with the gold. It was said that the gold was just a drop in the bucket. Baiyo was even more shocked. But thinking about it, it was also possible. Tangqian village was surrounded by mountains, so news was blocked. Governor Qing had evil intentions when he saw the money. After all, it was just a drop in the bucket and there were already hundreds of millions of yuan. How big was the treasure? Originally, little Jiu knew nothing about the massacre of the village. When Governor Cheng's matter was exposed, he knew that Governor Qing was one of the murderers. The woman was a little hurt and sighed. Baiya saw pity in the woman's eyes. She didn't think that a person who would pity others would be that bad. Well, Gu Lingqing is chasing me now. I can't waste any more time. When Gu Lingqing finds you, remember to tell Gu Lingqing that I am wronged. I will definitely find evidence to prove my innocence and ask him to let me go first, the woman said and went out of the cellar. She closed the wooden plank, and the surroundings were plunged into complete darkness where one could not even see their own fingers. Baiya tried to make a sound. She believed that Gu Lingqing would definitely be able to find her. As soon as the woman climbed out of the cellar, she ran into Gu Lingqing, who was coming in from the door. Xia He, go back with me, Gu Lingqing said sternly. Xia He raised a smile and said sarcastically, if I go back with you, I will definitely be dead. With your current identity and status, you can just charge me with treason and I will be completely destroyed. Everyone should be responsible for their own mistakes. I am no exception, and you are no exception, Gu Lingqing said coldly. He was very mean and ruthless. You won't believe me no matter what I say, right? Xia He clenched her teeth tightly, and some anger appeared in her sharp eyes. I only believe what I see with my eyes and hear with my ears, Gu Lingqing said resolutely. Really? Xia He sneered, and a trace of malice flashed across her long and narrow eyes. Gu Lingqing, let me ask you, do you only like Hai Lan and not me? Yes, I have never given you hope, Gu Lingqing said firmly. You told me before that you won't like anyone else except Hai Lan. Is that true? Xia He asked sharply. She threw the phone to Gu Lingqing. Seeing that it was Baiya's phone, Gu Lingqing's heart tightened. What did you do to Baiya? That girl is quite pretty. She is clean, fair, and tender. She does look a little like Hylon. Do you like her? Xia, he asked. The corners of her mouth curled up, and there was a murderous teasing look in her eyes. Baiyi stared at the darkness, although she couldn't see anything. She was also waiting for Gu Lingqing's answer. She could tell from their conversation that Gu Lingqing loved the girl named Hylon very much. Gu Lingqing was 5 years older than her. He seemed to be 26 or 27 this year. It was normal for him to fall in love and like a girl at this age. Just like her, she used to love Su Jiran with all her heart. However, she didn't love him anymore. It was not that Gu Lingqing didn't love her, but that girl was already dead. She didn't care about that. After all, it was all over. Her past was even dirtier and more unbearable. She wasn't a perfect person, so she shouldn't expect others to be perfect. She didn't care what Gu Lingqing did in the past or how he treated other women. She only wanted him to treat her well now, and he only liked her now. Xia He, you have already killed Hylon. Why do you hurt the innocent? Gu Lingqing said harshly. He stared at Xia He sharply, as if he wanted to cut Xia He into pieces. Baiyi's heart skipped a beat. Was he unwilling to admit it to others? Or was he worried that the woman named Xia He would hurt her, so he didn't say it on purpose? Chapter 95. In your heart, I've already caused Helen's death. You won't let me go. You can't wait to kill me a few hundred times. What does it matter if I kill one more person? Xia He laughed. Gu Lingqing's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He dashed towards Xia He. Xia He took out his gun and pointed it at Gu Lingqing's head. Hurry up and find that girl. If you can't find her in half an hour, she'll definitely die. If you dare to hurt her, I won't let you go no matter where you go, Gu Lingqing said hatefully. Ha, Gu Lingqing, you'll regret this. Xia He felt sad. He pushed the window open and jumped out. Gu Lingqing was furious. He smashed his phone on the floor. He shouldn't have left Baiyi and put her in danger. Baiyi, Baiyi, Gu Lingqing shouted. Baiyi lowered his eyes. He leaned against the pillar and kicked the table. The enamel cup on the table fell with a clatter. Gu Lingqing heard the sound. He laid on the floor and listened. Xiaoya, can you hear me? Baiyi kicked the table again. Gu Lingqing quickly knocked on the floor. He found the floor under the bed. He lifted it. He jumped in. He turned on the flashlight on his phone. He saw Baiyi. He quickly untied Baiyi and removed the tape. I'm sorry, Xiaoya. I shouldn't have left you alone. It's okay. I understand. Let's go up first, Baiyi said gently. She was extraordinarily calm. In the past, she had never been afraid when she faced 3 vicious criminals. Now, she was just tied up. Once they were upstairs, Baiyi said in a low voice, Gu Lingqing, I know who the murderer is. Xia He. Doesn't look like it, Gu Lingqing said. Tang Xiaozhou, the only survivor from Tangchen village. The villagers dug up 1,000 gold bars in total. Governor Qing didn't take all of them. There were still others. The people in the village didn't die of disease, they were slaughtered. Tang Xiaozhou was the village head's son. He was the one who wanted revenge. I suspect that Tang Xiaozhou is the one drinking with the fruit store owner, Baiyi guessed. Did Xia He tell you? Gu Lingqing's attitude was flat. Xia He told me to tell you that she was wronged. She is now looking for evidence to prove her innocence. She told you not to go after her, Baiyi expressed. Do you believe it? If she was looking for evidence, why would she hide in a place like this? I didn't wrongly accuse her. I was the one who planned the plan back then. She and Hai Lan knew about it. In the end, our plan was exposed. Xia He's whereabouts were unknown and Hai Lan was burned to death. If she didn't say it, did I? Did I say it? Gu Lingqing said coldly. He stood up and turned his face away. Bai Yi could see that he was trying his best to adjust his emotions. Could it be that you reported it to your superiors and someone heard it? Bai Yi felt that what Xia He said was true. It was a woman's intuition. No superiors. It's just the three of us. I don't want to talk about this anymore. That's it, Gu Lingqing said decisively and walked out of the room. Chenji walked over and reported, Chief, we saw the graves by the lake. It's just like what we analyzed before. They were all buried together. But the strange thing is that someone was paying respects to them. There were apples, bananas, pears, and so on. They were all fresh. They should have come to pay their respects in the morning. That's the blind date that Tang Xiaozhou killed Governor Qing. He went to pay his respects, Bai Yi said softly. Go back, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Looking at his cold back, Bai Yi's heart felt heavy, and she didn't feel very comfortable. Do you want to arrest Tang Xiaozhou? Bai Yi asked. A life for a life. If he did something wrong, he should be punished accordingly. Gu Lingqing looked ahead sharply. What about the truth? Do you want to make it public or hide it? Bai Yi asked. Gu Lingqing did not say anything. According to his understanding of the relevant departments, they would hide it 99% of the time. Firstly, they were worried that it would cause a negative impact on society. Secondly, it would cause pressure on the relevant departments. Thirdly, it would be too bloody. It would make people's hair stand on end. It would also cause an international sensation. Fourthly, they were afraid that it would alert the enemy. Bai Yi saw that Gu Lingqing did not answer her. She was a little annoyed. I think Xia He is innocent. If Xia He is really the informant, she doesn't have to live such a miserable life. She can live a carefree life abroad. Besides, Tang Xiaozhou is just the son of a villager. He has no culture, no knowledge, and he doesn't know anything about explosives and guns. I have reason to believe that it was Xia He who taught him. From Tang Xiaozhou not hurting the innocent, from Xia He not hurting the innocent, and from Xia He's justice, I don't think she is lying. Bai Yi analyzed. Enough. You are not a soldier, nor are you a policeman. You can't represent the government. I said, don't mention this again. Gu Lingqing raised his voice. Bai Yi did not ignore the disgust and annoyance that flashed through his eyes. She fell silent and lowered her eyes. If he did not want to listen to what she said, no matter how reasonable her words were, he would not believe her. Why did she have to say more and embarrass herself? Bai Yi did not say anything else and continued to climb the mountain alone. After Gu Lingqing vented his anger, he regretted it. He was in a bad mood. He should not have faced Bai Yi. Bai Yi was not his soldier. She was not his soldier. She was not someone he could vent his anger on. I'm sorry. Gu Lingqing apologized. Bai Yi twitched the corner of his mouth and ignored him. He quickly climbed up alone and would never be a burden to others. When they returned to the car, it was already 4 in the afternoon. No one had eaten lunch. Bai Yi turned his face away and looked out of the window. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Yi and frowned. I didn't mean to get angry at you. I didn't expect to meet Xia He here. I can't control my temper. I'll be more careful in the future. Bai Yi did not say anything. He closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. What was love? Was it caring for the other party, admiring the other party, listening to the other party, caring for the other party, not wanting to be separated, and wanting to be together every day? Or was it because he lacked a wife or husband in his life and needed to carry on the family line? If it was the former, no matter what she said, Gu Lingqing would listen patiently. If it was the latter, no matter what she said, the other party would be irritated, repelled, and disgusted. If she did not want to continue, was it still love? Or, she just did not love him enough? That was right. She could not love him wholeheartedly for a month. Her heart was extremely sensitive and fragile, but it was also firm and invincible. She had always been a passive person. She was not simple. In the corruption of society, she was scheming, shrewd, and selfish. If the other party was good to her, she would treat him twice as well. She did not care about right or wrong, did not care about giving, and tried her best to return the favor. If the other party was not good to her, she would open up her heart bit by bit. Gu Lingqing held her forehead and placed it on his shoulder. Bai Yi did not want to have intimate behavior after a quarrel. At least, she needed time to be alone. She opened her eyes and lay on the chair in front of her. Her forehead was on her arm. Chapter 96. Bai Yi really fell asleep while lying on the bed. Gu Lingqing felt uncomfortable seeing her sleeping like this. He put his arm around her shoulders and let her sleep on his lap. He was afraid that she would fall, so he hugged her the whole way. Chen Ji stole a glance at the bureau chief. It was the first time he saw the bureau chief treat someone so gently, and it was a woman. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Yi with pity. For the past 2 days, she had been running around with them, giving them ideas, thinking of solutions, climbing mountains, and taking risks. She didn't complain at all, and even walked in front, not dragging them down. He should have controlled his temper. His temper was a sharp sword, and it only hurt the people around him. His soldiers had to bear his anger, but she didn't have to. The car stopped. Bai Yi opened her eyes and looked into Gu Lingqing's eyes. She sat up calmly and looked out of the window. Have we arrived at the hotel? Let's eat first. Chen Ji and I will go find the person from Tangqian village who is still alive. You can rest in the hotel. Gu Lingqing deliberately softened his tone. No need. When can we eat? Let's do our work first. If Xia He informed Tang Xiaozhou, maybe Tang Xiaozhou has already escaped. He is the key to solving the case, Bai Yi suggested. Gu Lingqing nodded at Chen Ji and sent Tang Xiaozhou's address to Chen Ji. Bai Yi's hair was a little messy. She let go of her hair and combed it with her hand. Gu Lingqing looked at her. She didn't even look Gu Lingqing in the eye. She was quiet and elegant, with a sense of noble alienation. Xiaoye, Gu Lingqing shouted. Bai Yi looked at him. I'm sorry for losing my temper with you before, Gu Lingqing apologized. Bai Yi paused. He was proud and cold, but he actually apologized to her. It was not easy for ordinary people to apologize, but it was even more difficult for him. She was quite touched. It is normal to argue because of different opinions and ideas. She felt terrible at the time, but when she calmed down and thought about it, it was nothing. As long as it wasn't a betrayal, as long as it didn't cross her bottom line. Humans, without emotions and temper, were not humans. She didn't have a good temper, so she shouldn't ask others for help. I'm also in the wrong. I shouldn't have commented on things that I don't understand. Bai Yi also apologized. Back then, I brought 8 special forces soldiers to infiltrate the enemy's rear to rescue a politician. There was a traitor in the group, and they all died under the enemy's gunfire. In the end, only I survived, and Xia He disappeared at the most crucial moment. There's a lot of evidence to prove that she's the mole. I've been chasing after her for the past few years. These dead brothers are a threshold that I can't cross. So, when I see Xia He, I get excited and lose my mind, Gu Lingqing explained. Bai Yi nodded. Gu Lingqing held her hand. But, you're right. If she's the mole, why didn't she return to the team after completing the mission? Why did she hide in the sparsely populated Tangqian village? I'll do my best to investigate. I'm just talking nonsense. You know what to do in the military. Bai Ye's tone softened. Are you still angry with me? Gu Lingqing asked, looking at her worriedly. Bai Ye shook her head. I'm a little emotional. Since it's emotional, I'll be fine after a while. In the future, if I don't do well, just tell me directly. Don't give me the Cold War anymore. You'll feel uncomfortable. He pulled her into his arms. Bai Ye leaned on him and looked out of the window. Soon, they arrived at Tang Xiaozhou's accommodation. He rented a 2-story building. Gu Lingqing glanced around and said to Bai Ye, you wait in the car. Okay, Bai Ye said. She watched as Chen Ji slammed open the door and pointed his gun at Tang Xiaozhou. When Tang Xiaozhou saw him, he was on guard. He jumped over the wall and ran. Gu Lingqing rushed over. When Tang Xiaozhou saw that he couldn't escape, he immediately held the knife to his neck. Don't come any closer. If you come any closer, I'll die in front of you. You killed Governor Qing, didn't you? Gu Lingqing asked fiercely. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't kill anyone. Don't come closer, Tang Xiaozhou said defensively. If you didn't kill anyone, why are you running? If you didn't kill anyone, we'll let you go, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. I won't go with you. I'd rather die than go with you. Tang Xiaozhou touched his neck. If you die, who's going to avenge the 107 villagers? Bai Ye said. Tang Xiaozhou paused. He looked at Bai Ye and frowned. Bai Ye stood next to Gu Lingqing. He didn't go near him. He looked straight at Tang Xiaozhou. Didn't you and Xia He analyze it? Governor Qing won't be the only one who massacred the village. There are at least 5 people. If you die, they'll go after the 107 villagers. Then, the murderer will get away with it. I killed Governor Qing. If I get caught, you won't let me go. I won't be able to avenge him, Tang Xiaozhou said emotionally. His eyes were red. Who said you won't be able to avenge him? Your strength is as light as an ant. If you hand it over to the police and the country, your strength will be as solid as a rock, right? Bai Ye tried to persuade him. Those people are all high-ranking officials. Governor Qing is just a small fry. You can see how powerful they are. Will it be useful to hand it over to the police? Tang Xiaozhou didn't believe it. It will be useful. I'm Gu Lingqing from the special military. My military rank is Major General. If the police don't investigate for you, my people will investigate for you, Gu Lingqing promised. Tang Xiaozhou looked at Gu Lingqing in disbelief. Then, he looked at Bai Ye in disbelief. You're soldiers, not policemen. Why do you want to arrest me? Why should I believe you? Tang Xiaozhou was even more uneasy. Did you participate in the massacre? If we participated in the massacre, you'd be dead now. You wouldn't be here talking to us, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Then why are you looking for me? Tang Xiaozhou roared. Because they suspect that I killed Governor Qing. I'm looking for you to prove my innocence, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Your innocence has been proven. What about my hatred? If I go with you, I won't have a chance to take revenge. Tang Xiaozhou was very uneasy. You did something wrong, so you should be punished by the law. Those people did something wrong, so they should also be punished by the law. I promise you, I won't let those people get away with it. I'll hire a lawyer. I won't let you carry out the death penalty. I'll let you wait for the day when the truth comes out. Your villagers can rest in peace, Gu Lingqing promised righteously. Tang Xiaozhou looked at Bai Ye. You've spent 5 years investigating this matter. What have you found? If Governor Qing hadn't been arrested and exposed this matter, you wouldn't even know Governor Qing. How many years do you think it'll take you to find the others? Bai Ye asked rationally. Can you really help me investigate those people who massacred the village? Tang Xiaozhou's attitude softened. I promise in my name. Gu Lingqing looked at Tang Xiaozhou coldly. Chapter 97. Fine, I'll go with you, but I won't confess. You won't be able to find any evidence to prove my guilt anyway. I'll confess after you find the murderer. Tang Xiaozhou put down the knife. Gu Lingqing walked towards Tang Xiaozhou. Chen Ji saw a flash of light and said alertly, "Be careful, there's a sniper rifle." Bai Ye's first reaction was that someone might have found Tang Xiaozhou and wanted to kill him. She couldn't let anything happen to Tang Xiaozhou. She jumped on a rock and stood in front of Tang Xiaozhou. Gu Lingqing turned around and pounced on Bai Ye. With a thud, Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing. Are you okay? Gu Lingqing asked worriedly. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing with a burning gaze. When a person is in danger, their first reaction is the subconscious reaction in their heart. Gu Lingqing actually saved her. Did this prove that in his heart, she was the first? I'm fine. Where's Tang Xiaozhou? Bai Ye looked at Tang Xiaozhou. Tang Xiaozhou was shot in the forehead and had already fallen to the ground. Tang Xiaozhou. Bai Ye ran towards Tang Xiaozhou. Tang Xiaozhou's face was covered in blood. His eyes were wide open and he still had his last breath. Bai Ye was worried. She pressed on Tang Xiaozhou's forehead. Send him to the hospital. Gu Lingqing, hurry up and make a call. Prepare for intracranial surgery. Maybe he can be saved. Chen Ji, chase them. Gu Lingqing ordered. He made a call. Chen Ji quickly chased in the direction of the sniper rifle. Bai Ye saw that there was no way to save Tang Xiaozhou. Her eyes turned red. Who are these people? Why did they kill Tang Xiaozhou? What is their purpose? Tang Xiaozhou closed his eyes. No, you can't die. Bai Ye pressed on Tang Xiaozhou's chest to save him. Tang Xiaozhou was dead. It was impossible to survive a sniper rifle shot through the head. How could he die? Bai Ye was not calm. Gu Lingqing helped Bai Ye up. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing. Now that Tang Xiaozhou is dead, no one can prove your innocence, right? I have contacted the local police. They should be here soon. Bai Ye, we must calm down now. Gu Lingqing held Bai Ye's shoulder. Bai Ye had to admit that she was unable to calm down after seeing a person die right in front of her. After all, she did not have the mental fortitude of a soldier. He held his head and closed his eyes. Tang Xiaozhou did not have a deep relationship with her, but she could not calm down. Gu Lingqing saw his brothers, comrades, and even his girlfriend die in front of him one by one. She now understood 1,000th of his feelings at that time. She could not panic. She had to calm down. She had to be rational. She could not be a burden. Bai Ye opened her eyes and forced herself to calm down. She looked at Gu Lingqing. What should I do now? The police will be here soon. They will ask us to take a statement. The less you know, the safer you will be. Don't talk about the gold mine and the treasure. We don't want to alert the enemy. Is that okay? Gu Lingqing said calmly. The more chaotic the situation was, the calmer he had to be. Bai Ye understood and nodded. When they come later, we'll say that we suspect that he has something to do with Governor Chang's death, but before we could ask why, he was killed by a sniper. As for the others, we'll leave them to the police. We'll investigate in secret. With my identity, they won't dare to speculate. As for the news media, I will ask them to suppress it and think about it further, Gu Lingqing said. Okay, Baiya replied. Her hands were still trembling. Gu Lingqing looked at the blood on her hands. He used the mineral water in the car to clean up the blood on Baiya's hands. Her hands became colder and colder. Gu Lingqing held her hands and wrapped them in his big palms. His palms were very warm. Baiya's eyes flickered as she looked at Gu Lingqing. He smiled. Leave everything to me. I can solve any problem. Don't worry. Baiya was actually worried. She had a lot of worries. But at least with him by her side, her heart gradually calmed down under his comfort. Chen Ji came back. He lowered his head and reporting to the chief. They escaped. Okay, Gu Lingqing replied. The mayor's police came over. Take care of it, Gu Lingqing ordered. He held Baiya's hand and entered the car. Don't we need to go out? Baiya asked Gu Lingqing. Let Chenji handle it first. What I told you just now will only be used when they have no other choice. Under normal circumstances, they won't dare to ask me. Chenji knows what to do. Gu Lingqing looked straight ahead. Just as Gu Lingqing predicted, those people didn't dare to knock on the car door at all. They put Tang Xiaojiu's body in the car and left first. Chenji opened the door of the driver's seat. He got in the car and reported, they brought the body back to freeze it. They won't move it for the time being. They will listen to our instructions. Okay, let's go back first, Gu Lingqing ordered. They got into the car. Gu Lingqing called Gu Tianhang. I have something to tell you. The murderer has been found. His name is Tang Xiaojiu. However, he was killed by a sniper rifle 10 minutes ago. We don't know who fired the shot. What happened? Why is there a sniper rifle involved? Gu Tianhang asked anxiously. I don't know. I don't think it's as simple as I thought. We still don't know who killed the murderer. What's certain is that my whereabouts have been exposed. Someone is watching me, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. The murderer who killed Governor Qing is now dead. There's no evidence. Su Zheng must think that you killed Governor Qing. No, you must marry Xiao Ling and suppress this matter. Otherwise, you will have a falling out and it will get out of hand, Gu Tianhang said angrily. I stand straight and act righteously. I'm not afraid of being criticized by others, Gu Lingqing refused. But I didn't act righteously and your mother didn't act righteously either. I did call Governor Qing and he did sell the land to our Gu Corporation. Now, Su Zheng has Governor Cheng's statement, Gu Tianhang said worriedly. That could also be Governor Cheng's framing. We didn't find any recording evidence on Governor Cheng's side. Moreover, the land wasn't seized by force. It was bought according to the normal market price. That's all. I have to hang up. I have to drive later, Gu Lingqing said resolutely. Your mother and I promised you that if you found the murderer, we would only agree to you marrying Baiya. Now that the murderer is dead, we won't agree to you marrying Baiya, Gu Tianhang said domineeringly. I don't need your consent to marry Baiya. You can choose not to accept it, but it won't affect my decision. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. Baiya looked at him. In order to be with her, he was so determined to tell his parents. She was quite touched. With a husband like this, what more could she ask for? Chapter 98. Xia He has a political stain. What she said can't be used as evidence in court, Gu Lingqing said to Baiya. Who wants to kill Tang Xiaojiu? Is it related to the gold bar case? Or is there someone who doesn't want you to find the murderer to prove your innocence? Baiya was having a headache thinking about it. She leaned on Gu Lingqing's shoulder. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He was confused too. He looked at Bai Ye and held her hand tightly. "Chief, do you want to eat something first?" "You haven't eaten anything for a day," Chen Ji suggested. "Let's find a place to eat. We can't stay in the hotel anymore. I suspect that someone is following us. Be careful. Let's find a safe place to stay tonight," Gu Lingqing ordered. "Yes." Chen Ji found a restaurant and stopped at the entrance. Bai Ye opened the car door and got out. She looked at the source of the sound. It was a dagger. It seemed to be Tang Xiaojiu's dagger. She picked it up and asked Gu Lingqing in surprise, "Why is Tang Xiaojiu's dagger in the car? He didn't get in our car, right? I remember he was holding it in his hand." Chen Ji's face was pale. "Did he do something and put it in our car?" Gu Lingqing glanced at Chen Ji. "Don't talk nonsense. If there are no ghosts in this world, where would ghosts come from? If he has the ability to put the dagger in our car, then what he should do is to kill the person who killed him with the dagger." "You're right, but why is it in our car?" Chen Ji was confused. It was getting more and more suspicious. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye and glanced at Bai Ye's pocket. He understood. "Xiaoye, when you rushed to Tang Xiaojiu's side, he was still breathing, right?" Gu Lingqing asked. "I'm sure, but it didn't last long," Bai Ye said sadly. "He used all his will to put the dagger in your pocket. At that time, you were too emotional and didn't feel it. When you got in the car, because your pocket was shallow, the dagger slipped out of your pocket. When you got out of the car, it fell on the ground." Gu Lingqing analyzed. After Gu Lingqing's analysis, Chen Ji was enlightened. "I think this explanation is reasonable. But why would Tang Xiaojiu put a dagger in the chief's wife's pocket?" "I'm not." Chen Ji glanced at the chief's expression. Chen Ji glanced at the bureau chief's expression. "Won't that be the case in the future?" Gu Lingqing did not deny it. He took the dagger from Bai Ye's hand, observed it, and twisted it. The handle of the dagger was empty. Gu Lingqing fell to the ground and a thumb drive fell on his palm. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. "Thumb drive? What's in it?" "Get in the car first," Gu Lingqing said cautiously. They quickly got in the car. Gu Lingqing opened the laptop in the car and inserted the thumb drive. There were 2 video recordings in it. He opened a video called "My Village." "This is my village chief, Tangchen Village." Tang Xiaojiu recorded himself and pointed it at the big tombstone. His voice was choked with sobs. "My family, relatives, friends, lovers, and children are all buried here." Little Tang Jiu sat next to the tombstone and recorded himself. His eyes were red as he said, "I feel that I might also be killed, so I want to leave some evidence behind, so that I won't die like these villagers, without knowing why. 5 years ago, our village accidentally dug a hole. There were 10 iron boxes in the hole. When I opened them, they were filled with gold bars. I counted 1,000 bars and a treasure map. My father said that we should hand these over to the country. I didn't agree. The country didn't open a road for us, nor did they give us electricity. These gold bars were enough for us to open a road and electricity. My father didn't agree. I was angry, so I ran out alone. I don't know who my father found, but I'm sure that my father found demons. Those demons killed 107 villagers and an innocent villager's relative. They did it for the gold bars and the treasure map. But Heaven's Net has a long way to go. What they didn't expect was that I stole the treasure map from my father and made a copy of it. Unfortunately, I can't understand the treasure map. I wonder if those people can understand it." Tang Xiaojiu wiped his tears and patted the tombstone. He placed the copy of the map on the ground and recorded it all with a video. Then, He burned the map in front of the big tombstone. I hope that one day, if someone sees this video, they can find the murderer through the treasure map and avenge us. He will be able to find the murderer through the treasure map and avenge us. Little Tang Jiu recorded until this point. Gu Lingqing made a copy of the video and saved it in the cloud disk. For safety reasons, he also sent a copy to his email. He opened another video. The video said that the name of the murderer was Qing Bin. Qing Bin was the name of Governor Qing. Gu Lingqing opened it. Today is the day that I'm going to kill Qing Bin. This corrupt official took bribes and perverted the law. He killed 107 villagers in my village. Look, this is my surveillance screen. Awesome, right? Tang Xiaozhou narrated. He pointed the camera at the screen. On the screen, the scene of the inspection yard could be seen. I modified the gun so that the muzzle can help monitor. As long as Qing Bin appears, with a bang, he's dead. By the way, I also sent a remote-controlled smoke grenade, Tang Xiaozhou said with a smile. He placed the video recorder on the side. In the video, he could see Tang Xiaozhou and the TV screen. Tang Xiaozhou made a bowl of instant noodles. When he was halfway through eating, he saw that Qing Bin had come out. He immediately put down the bowl and remotely detonated the smoke grenade. However, the image of Qing Bin on the screen was very clear. He adjusted the direction and clicked the mouse. With a bang, he killed Qing Bin. He also fired 3 more shots. After killing Qing Bin, Tang Xiaozhou picked up the video recorder, pointed it at himself, and said with a smile, "I've killed the first one. Wait for me, I'll kill the rest one by one." The video ended here. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye. "It seems that even God wants me to marry you. Can this video prove your innocence?" Bai Ye was still a little worried. He was afraid that it would only exist in his dreams. This video should be enough to prove it. I think the address in the video is not here. It should be near the prosecutor's office. When I go back, I'll go to the police station or the prosecutor's office to investigate. I should be able to find the house he rented, the equipment in the house, and the DNA can prove that Tang Xiaozhou did it. Gu Lingqing explained patiently. Bai Ye breathed a sigh of relief. It was good to be able to prove his innocence. They did not come all the way here in vain. Gu Lingqing held Bai Ye's hand tightly. Chapter 99. Because of the urgency of the situation, Gu Lingqing and Qinji rushed back overnight. Bai Ye wanted to drive for them, but Gu Lingqing refused. It was 6:30 in the morning when they arrived at a group. Lu Shuang only got up when Bai Ye arrived home. She smiled when she saw Bai Ye. "You've made up with Gu Lingqing." "Yes, I'll make breakfast for you." Bai Ye walked toward the kitchen. Lu Shuang followed Bai Ye into the kitchen and asked curiously, "Has the matter of him marrying Su Shaoling been resolved?" "It should have been resolved." "That's great, I knew Gu Lingqing was a man." "I'm relieved that you two are together." "You don't know, when you two weren't together, I was so worried that a few strands of my hair turned white." Bai Ye smiled. "Don't just worry about me. What about you? Your father should be the most anxious person. I've already brought the application form from the military and filled it in for you. When I enter the military, I'll face those hot-blooded men every day. Are you still afraid that I won't be able to get married?" "I have to choose someone I like," Lu Shuang said optimistically. "That's good too. That man named Shen Yin didn't pester you, right?" Bai Ye asked worriedly. "Him. He probably has already forgotten about me. It's a good thing. I'll just treat it as if I was bitten by a dog. Sister, you go ahead and make breakfast. I'll put on a facial mask while it's still early." Lu Shuang went out happily. Bai Ye took the opportunity to wash up while she was cooking porridge. When she came out, the porridge was ready and Lu Shuang had put on a facial mask. "Are you still working today?" Lu Shuang asked. "I rushed to the hospital last night. Although I'm not allowed to drive, I didn't sleep well. I'm afraid that something might go wrong during the surgery, so I won't be going today." "It's fine even if you don't go. My father had the foresight to transfer 2 obstetricians over on Monday, probably to replace you and me. I'm full. I'll have to trouble you to wash the dishes, my dear." Lu Shuang walked out of the door. Baiya washed the dishes, cleaned the house, and lay on the bed to rest. He didn't know how Gu Lingqing was doing. It should be going well. Dong, dong, dong. Someone knocked on the door. Baiya walked to the door suspiciously and looked through the peephole. It was Gu Lingqing's mother, Song Shiyu. She had met him at Su Xiaoling's house, so they knew each other. Song Shiyu knocked on the door again, as if she was sure that she would be inside. Baiya thought that they would meet eventually, so she opened the door and said respectfully, "Hello, Auntie, please come in." Song Shiyu looked around the room and said with a smile, "Although the room is small, you've taken good care of it." Baiya poured a cup of tea and placed it on the coffee table in front of Song Shiyu. She sat opposite Song Shiyu. "I picked this tea when I went on a trip with my colleagues this year. I asked the owner of the tea shop to make it. Please try it." Song Shiyu picked up the teacup and took a sip. It's fragrant, and the aftertaste is quite strong. It's sweet and refreshing. It's a good tea. I picked a lot, and I feel more at ease picking it myself. There's about half a caddy of packaged tea. If Auntie doesn't mind, you can drink it often. You have a good eye, Mississippi. The tea leaves are all cores. According to the current market price, it should be no less than 10,000 yuan. How much did you pay when you picked it? Song Shiyu asked casually. It was arranged by the tour group. I think it's 100 yuan a day. You can pick as much as you want. Baiya answered truthfully. Miss Bai, you've got a great deal. The owner of the tea house is also going to cry. Song Shiyu smiled and put the teacup on the coffee table. Baiya could see that Song Shiyu had a good upbringing. She was elegant and noble, and her words were not harsh. She always had a charming smile on her face, dignified and generous. However, the words that came out of her mouth were sharper than a knife. The other meaning of her words was that she compared Gu Lingqing to tea leaves. It was Gu Lingqing's parents and the whole family who were going to cry. Since the owner of the tea house has received 100 yuan, he should be prepared. Only people who know how to taste tea can taste good tea. People who don't know how to taste tea cannot taste good tea. Even if there are 100,000 yuan of tea leaves, they can't taste good or bad, right? Baiya said in a humble manner. Indeed, many people don't know how to taste tea leaves, but it's different for people. My Lingqing was outstanding when he was young. He was supposed to be sent to Cambridge, but his father didn't agree. He insisted that he go to the military school and take over his father's position. However, Lingqing was independent and had his own ideas. He graduated from high school at the age of 14 and was admitted to the best university in the country. He finished his postgraduate studies in 4 years and was about to have a meteoric rise in his career. However, he went to join the special forces without telling us. His father was so angry that he almost had a heart attack. It was not that he didn't want to take on dangerous missions, but he was carried back several times. He was rebellious, unruly, disobedient, arrogant, conceited, and thought that his fate was in his own hands. However, what was gratifying was that with his own efforts, he made contributions every time and was soon promoted to major. However, it was also that year that something happened. He went out to carry out a mission with 8 comrades. There was a spy, and all of them were killed. When he came back with the hostages, he was covered in injuries. With his superb willpower, he returned to the army and fainted immediately. He lay in bed for a week before he woke up. His father and I were worried about him. However, he was still stubborn and almost died a few times. His father and I arranged for many people to go in and protect him. In the end, he survived until now and even became the youngest general from a major. What did you see from the path he took in the past? Song Shiyu said earnestly. What I saw is not important. What is important is what are you trying to express? Baiya asked directly. Our Lingqing is strong-willed and rebellious. It wasn't easy for him to get to where he is now. He relied on himself and not his family. He is a person who wants to do well, and he is very proud, strong, and domineering. However, in our eyes, he is still a child. As parents, our hearts ache the most when our child is suffering outside. We can't wait to give him the best in the world, but we are still worried that it is not enough. Baiya, I know that you are actually a reasonable person. I can see it from the way you talk, the way you speak, the look in your eyes, and your habits. I like your temperament very much. However, to be honest, you can't help Lingqing. Perhaps, you are the biggest stumbling block in his life. Song Shiyu took out a check from her bag. The check was written for 8 million. She put the check in front of Baiya. This is my compensation to you. I hope it can reduce some of the pain in your heart, Song Shiyu said with a smile. Chapter 100. Song Shiyu felt Baiya's fierceness and was slightly surprised. At first, she thought that Baiya should be a gentle girl, but she didn't expect her to be so harsh. Her character seemed to be different from what she had imagined. There is something that Lingqing didn't tell you, right? Song Shiyu lowered her eyes and took a sip of tea. What? Baiya had a bad feeling in her heart. Lingqing likes you very much. He likes you more than I thought. He is trying his best to protect you from the storm and let you have a warm safe zone. But your safety here, standing aloof from worldly affairs and separated from danger, is supported by his own flesh and blood. Does Miss Bai know about this? Song Shiyu smiled, her eyes misty with heartache. I don't understand. Can you explain it more clearly? Baiya frowned. Su Zheng, you have met Su Xiaoling's father. He is now the leader of the Discipline Inspection Department. He now has some information about Lingqing's father. Lingqing's father and I promised Lingqing that as long as he found the murderer who killed Governor Qing, he would agree to let him marry you. But if he couldn't find the murderer, he must marry Su Xiaoling. When we promised him, we hoped that he couldn't find the murderer, so we deliberately leaked the news about him. Baiya stood up anxiously. Because you deliberately leaked the news, Tang Xiaozhou died. Song Shiyu didn't look at Baiya. We thought that there should be someone who didn't want Lingqing to find Tang Xiaozhou. They would stop him. We didn't expect that he would kill him. Mrs. Gu is so smart. It's impossible that you didn't think of it, right? Baiya said bitterly. She didn't expect that parents would hurt their son like this. I admit that we are selfish, but it is also for Lingqing. Although it was proved that the murderer who killed Governor Qing was not Tianhang or Lingqing, the deal between Tianhang and Governor Qing existed. This matter was over, or was it just because of Su Zheng's words? There's something you might not know. Do you remember the day you were taken away by your husband, Su Jiran? Song Shiyu reminded. Baiya pursed her lips and said nothing. In order to save you, Lingqing directly found someone to detain Su Jiran. You still don't know Su Jiran's identity. His mother, Xiong Dani, is a member of the cabinet. She is also recognized by the president's wife as the president's woman. This is an open secret in the circle. Su Jiran was the president's man. Lingqing had previously pulled Su Jiran out of office and then detained Su Jiran. These actions were equivalent to directly offending the president. There had long been rumors that Ling Qing would become the president in the future. The president's son, Shen Yin, was now 24 years old, and the president still wanted his son to inherit the throne. Originally, the conflict was due to some restrictions on power, so the current balance was reached. The problem was that once Su Jing didn't let Tianhang go, this balance would be broken. The president wouldn't let Tianhang go, and Tianhang and I would definitely fall. If Tianhang and I fell, Ling Qing wouldn't be far away. Therefore, Ling Qing must marry Shaoling. If you love him, save him. My 8 million is really not to buy out your love, but to compensate for your sacrifice, Song Shiyu said emotionally. Bai Yi fixed her eyes on Song Shiyu. Song Shiyu was indeed a well-deserved strong woman. After so many years of immersing in business and politics, her EQ and IQ were not something that ordinary people could catch up with. She convinced her. Don't worry, whether he is worthless or priceless to me, the result you want is the same, Bai Yi said coldly. Song Shiyu stood up, feeling touched. On behalf of Ling Qing, on behalf of the Gu family, and on behalf of myself, I thank you for your selflessness. I have a presumptuous request. Say it. Bai Yi's legs turned to jelly, and she sat on the sofa. Actually, Ling Qing had a girlfriend. He met her when he was in the special forces. She was an outstanding, talented, confident, and beautiful girl. In the end, the girl sacrificed herself to protect Ling Qing. After Ling Qing woke up in the hospital, he went on another mission. Every mission was dangerous, and he didn't listen to us no matter how hard we tried to persuade him. We knew that he wanted to go with the girl. It took him 2 years to adjust to it. To him, those days were dark and colorless, and to us, it was also dark. If he knew that you sacrificed yourself for him, he definitely wouldn't agree. He was the kind of person who would rather destroy himself than sacrifice himself for others. As his parents, we feel sorry for him. Miss Bai, love is short, but life is eternal. Ling Qing doesn't belong to himself, but to the country. He is someone who can do great things. Can you help us? Song Shiyu nodded and pleaded. Tears flowed from Bai Yi's eyes. They passed through her lips, and they tasted salty. Could she say no? No, she couldn't. She was very envious that Gu Lingqing had such a mother. For the sake of her own child, she was willing to lower her voice and bow to a person who was nothing at all with such a high status. She had a mother too. She used to kneel in the snow in winter so that she could study. She had a child too. After the child was snatched away, she went crazy and even injected herself with insulin. She thought that if the child died, at least she would be with him, and he wouldn't be so lonely. But on second thought, if the child didn't die, wouldn't he have no mother? A child without a mother would be very pitiful. She called the emergency number again. Su Jiran found her a psychiatrist, who kept instilling in her the idea that a child of a rapist should not exist in this world. Miss Bai, can I? Song Shiyu saw that Bai Yi's state was not quite right. When Bai Yi came to her senses, her face was already covered in tears. The memory of the child was too tragic. She had sealed it in her memory and was unwilling to touch it. Mrs. Gu, don't worry. I know what to do. Bai Yi's lips trembled. She lowered her head and clenched her fists tightly. The veins on her neck were popping, and she was trying hard to suppress her emotions that were about to collapse. Tears dropped one by one, like pearls with a broken necklace, and fell to the ground. Song Shiyu's eyes softened, and she felt sorry. Before she came here, she hated Bai Yi because she was Su Jiran's ex-wife, and she was Su Jiran's ex-wife. A woman who provoked Su Jiran and could still make her son fall head over heels for her. What kind of woman did she have? What kind of EQ and IQ did she have? She was fully prepared to come over. If Baiya was scheming, snobbish, and crafty, then she had plenty of ways to make Baiya retreat in the face of difficulties, so that she would know what she should and should not provoke. Chapter 101. She was like a fragrant chrysanthemum, cold and aloof, but it made people feel relaxed and comfortable to get along with. I'm sorry. If we were just an ordinary family, we would be very happy with a daughter-in-law like you. But now, we can't afford to lose. Song Shiyu sighed, turned around, and left. When Baiya heard the slam of the door, her tears had already burst. In fact, she had already expected this result. Cinderella was able to be with the prince because of the 3 sets of expensive and gorgeous clothes and the only pair of crystal shoes in the world. If Cinderella was just an ordinary peasant woman without a prominent family background, she would not have been able to be with the prince. However, her heart still felt very painful. It was as if an awl had pierced into her heart and opened a hole. Only after drinking the warmth of hot water did she realize the coldness of cold water. She had hoped before, which was why she was in so much despair now. Baiya cried for a long, long time. When she was tired of crying, she fell asleep on the sofa. She was woken up by the ringing of her phone. Baiya opened her eyes and saw that it was Lu Shuang's caller ID. She answered. What's wrong? Shuang no. Have you seen it on the internet? The person who killed Governor Cheng has been arrested. The police have also found the house rented by the murderer near the inspection station. The TV said that Governor Cheng took the murderer's money but did not do anything. The murderer was so angry that he killed him. In my opinion, the murderer is an idiot. Governor Cheng is already detained by the procuratorate. He doesn't need to do anything. Governor Cheng will also be punished. Why would he do anything? Don't you think he's stupid? Lu Shuang said. Baiya was silent. The authorities did not report the gold bar and the massacre of the village. In the world, many truths were drowned in the cruel reality. She wanted to help Tang Xiaojiu find the other murderers, but she was powerless. What's wrong? Xiao Bai, are you listening? Lu Shuang asked worriedly. Yes, I'm here. I just woke up and my head is still a little dizzy. I'm going out for dinner now. We'll talk when I come back tonight, Baiya said. Okay. It's already 3:00 in the afternoon. You haven't eaten yet. Hurry up and go eat. That's all. I'm hanging up. Lu Shuang hung up the phone. Baiya went to the washroom to wash her face. Her eyes were a little swollen. She couldn't just sit and wait for death. She exhaled and called Xing Bachuan. Xing Bachuan saw that it was an unfamiliar caller ID. He picked up the call and asked suspiciously, "Who is this?" "Dad, I'm Baiya." "I want to go home," Baiya said directly. "What did you say?" Xing Bachuan's voice was very sharp. He said heartlessly, "I don't recognize you as my daughter." "Are you sure you won't admit it?" Baiya smiled faintly. "After my mother gave birth to me, you secretly drugged her with a mental illness. You made my mother divorced. My mother was alone and mentally ill. She was isolated and helpless. But don't forget, I'm in the medical field. Yes, she is your biological daughter." Xing Bachuan frowned and shouted in panic, "What are you trying to do?" "I think, Dad, you should have made many enemies in the political arena. Whether the testimony of your biological daughter is true or false, do you think the public will believe it? Can you still keep your position?" Baiya said lightly. "I'm your father. You ingrate. How dare you try to harm me?" Xing Bachuan said anxiously. "Yes, you're my father. I don't want to harm you. I just want to go home. If I'm homeless, I don't know what crazy things I'll do." After all, I have a mentally ill mother. When the time comes, she might say some nonsense to make you unhappy. Please understand. I'm homeless too. I can't do anything about it, Baya said with red eyes. You haven't contacted me all this time. Why are you suddenly coming back? Xing Bachuan asked suspiciously. He lowered his voice and gritted his teeth in anger. The corner of Baya's mouth curled up slightly. In the past, she was alone. She could support her mother with her own ability. She didn't want to find a man who wanted her and her mother dead. Now, she couldn't be a woman protected by Gu Lingqing. Then, she would use her ability to protect him. Love, in fact, didn't mean being together. It was better to watch him. Dad, I've had a hard time. I miss you, Baya said lightly. Aren't you living well in the hospital? Even though Su Jiran divorced you, you're free now. What's more, he liked Jin Yan to begin with. Dad, you can disagree. Then, I can only rely on Dad's political enemies. I believe they will give me a better report, Baya said calmly. Don't you dare, Xing Bachuan threatened. Dad, I'm actually your daughter. Your blood flows in my veins. You only have 2 daughters, Xing Jinyan and me. Xing Jinyan is the apple of your eye. She has been spoiled since she was young. She has the temper of a spoiled young lady. She can't take hardship. Her EQ is too low, and she doesn't have enough IQ. She can't do anything big. Don't you want someone to help you? Baya tried to persuade Xing Bachuan. You'll help me. Xing Bachuan didn't believe her. He knew how badly he treated the mother and daughter. Blood is thicker than water. In fact, only Dad can help me. Only when Dad is good can I be better. I understand this logic, Baya said coldly. I need to think about it. You know your stepmother's background. I can't make the decision alone. Besides, Su Jiran might become your brother-in-law. If you come, Jinyan will hate me. Xing Bachuan was very defensive. Are you so sure that Su Jiran will become Xing Jinyan's husband? Later, I'll send a video to Dad. Maybe Dad will understand. Baya hung up the phone. She took a deep breath. Talking to those people was a battle of wits and courage. She had to take things one step at a time. After making up her mind, she called Su Jiran. How are you going to answer my call? Su Jiran was curious. Meet me at Golden Garden in 2 hours. I'll call you when I've booked a private room. Are you free? I have something to tell you, Baya said cautiously. Golden Garden. Sure. See you in 2 hours. Su Jiran hung up the phone suspiciously. Baya booked a private room and installed a pinhole camera in it. After that, she went to a nearby shopping mall to buy a V-neck silk embroidered dress. She had been with Su Jiran for 4 years. Although she had never slept with him, she knew the type of women Su Jiran liked very well. The women who had been with him were mostly the same type: sexy, enchanting, good figures, easy to get and easy to get rid of. She changed into the dress, and her deep cleavage was faintly discernible. The hem of the dress was cut high on one side and low on the other, but it didn't cover her slender legs. She bought a set of cosmetics from the beauty shop downstairs and asked the shop assistant to put on an enchanting makeup. Chapter 102. When Baya arrived at Jindu Garden, Su Jiran was already there. When he saw Baya, his eyes flashed with amazement. Baya did not usually put on makeup and dressed simply. She was never dressed like she was today. Sexy, enchanting, but not frivolous. She was still noble and outstanding. She was beautiful. Back then, Bai Bing married Xing Bachuan because of her beauty. Baiya inherited the strengths of Bai Bing and Xing Jinyan. She sat opposite Su Jiran. Su Jiran smiled wickedly and poured a glass of red wine for Baiya. I was surprised that you would ask me out for a meal. Baiya lowered her eyes. There was no deep hatred between you and me before. Su Jiran smiled and leaned against the chair lazily. Tell me, what can I do for you? Baiya swirled the wine glass. Her beautiful eyes were mesmerized by the thin veil. Through the wine glass, she looked at the distorted world and said nothing. Su Jiran felt that the more she didn't speak, the more mysterious her beauty was. He held Baiya's hand. Baiya didn't move. He sat next to her. Baiya looked at him. It was still her usual cold gaze, but now it was colder than before. He had been looking for this kind of temperament, but he had never seen it except for her. Su Jiran's heart surged. He leaned over and kissed her on the lips. Baiya blocked his lips. I do have something important to tell you. What? Su Jiran looked at Baiya in fascination. You look so charming now. I seem to have wasted God's gift. Is it too late to regret it now? I'm going home, Baiya said lightly. Go home. Whose home? My home. You know, I always welcome you here. Su Jiran smiled charmingly. Not your family. It's Xing Ba Chuan's family. I want to take back everything that belongs to me, Baiya said firmly. Su Jiran was suspicious. You've never mentioned that you're the governor's daughter. You didn't even reveal it to Lu Shuang. Now, you're actually going back to Xing Ba Chuan's side. Why? If you recognize reality, will you help me? Baiya asked. Su Jiran moved closer to her, looked at her rosy lips, and said in an ambiguous tone, What can you give me then? What do you want from me? In fact, I don't have anything. You know that. If it weren't for the fact that I have nowhere else to go, I wouldn't have thought of having a governor as my dad. Baiya mocked himself. Baiya, I like you more and more now. Be my woman. Su Jiran's breathing became heavier as he kissed Baiya's lips. Baiya stood up and looked at Su Jiran coldly. When he was chasing after her, he also said that he liked her. What happened after that? I want to become Xing Ba Chuan's daughter, and you'll become my brother-in-law. It's better to maintain the basic distance between us. I want to enter the Xing family, and one of the problems is Xing Jinyan. I'll have to trouble you to explain it to me. Su Jiran's face darkened. He really didn't like it when women rejected him. He picked up his glass of red wine and drank it in one gulp. He said dangerously, I can help you. What about what I want? President Su doesn't lack women. Baiya rejected him. Su Jiran also stood up and scrutinized her. Now that Gu Lingqing and Su Shaoling are about to get married, don't tell me you still have expectations for him. I know who is worth waiting for, who is worth protecting, and who is worth loving. President Su, you don't have to worry. I'll go and settle the bill. Baiya walked toward the door. Su Jiran held her arm. What's the hurry? It's only been half an hour. We still have 2.5 hours. Have a good meal with me. Baiya sat down helplessly. Su Jiran ordered the dishes. Baiya lowered her head and looked at the surveillance footage on her phone. The footage today was enough to convince Xing Ba Chuan that Xing Jinyan might not be able to win over Su Jiran. Where have you been these few days? Su Jiran asked. I don't have to report to you. Baiya turned off the surveillance footage and put her phone in her bag. Let me guess. Gu Lingqing brought you to Tangqian village to find Tang Xiaojiu, Su Jiran said with a smile. Baiya looked at Su Jiran in surprise. Suspicion flashed across her eyes. How did you know? Gu Lingqing's parents don't necessarily want Gu Lingqing to find the murderer. As for the one who killed Tang Xiaozhou, do you think it was Gu Tianhang or Su Bei? Su Jiran said with a smile. I think you have a good chance too. Su Jiran poured himself a glass of red wine. It's a murder anyway. If it were me, I would have killed Gu Lingqing directly. There's no need to beat around the bush. Baiya felt that he was right. Her phone rang. She looked at the caller ID of Gu Lingqing. Her eyes dimmed and she didn't hide her sadness. Su Jiran clenched his fists and looked at Baiya coldly. Baiya didn't pick up the call and hung up. Su Jiran twitched the corner of his mouth. Remember what I told you before. It's best not to mess with Gu Lingqing. He's not a man you can mess with. His family will never accept you. Why do you have to humiliate yourself? Baiya picked up the glass of red wine on the table and drank it in one gulp. Gu Lingqing sent another message. Baiya opened it. What's wrong? Are you home? I'll be there in 10 minutes. Baiya stood up. Su Jiran stood in front of her and stared at her. You're not allowed to go. I have something to tell him. I don't want to avoid it, Baiya said with red eyes. All right, make yourself clear. Su Jiran moved to the side and said. Baiya went out. He gritted his teeth and called Xing Jinyan. Come to Jindu Garden. Baiya went back. Gu Lingqing stood at her door and smiled at her. Baiya's heart ached. He was so good, so good, so good. She walked towards him and hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. She buried her face in his chest and absorbed the warmth from his body. She still remembered their first meeting. He hugged her like this and said, I'll protect you. He kept his promise and protected her time and time again. She didn't like to remember in the past. Her memories were all tragic and only made her feel more hopeless. Now, she liked to remember. Those warm memories could support her to continue bravely. Gu Lingqing said gently, Are we going to keep standing at the door? I want to hug you like this, Baiya said softly. What's wrong? Where did you go today? Why did you dress up like this? Gu Lingqing asked. Baiya woke up and opened the door. I wanted to change my appearance, so I went out to buy some makeup, Baiya said and walked into the washroom. Gu Lingqing followed her to the washroom and smiled. You're beautiful even without makeup. I've seen your ugly face. Are you worried that I'll dislike you? Baiya's eyes turned red. She closed her eyes and splashed cold water on her face. Chapter 103. Baiya didn't take the towel from his hand. I don't want to get married. Ha! Gu Lingqing paused for a moment. Oh right. He took out a jewelry box from his pocket, knelt on one knee and opened the jewelry box. There was a diamond ring in the jewelry box. Baiya, marry me, Gu Lingqing said seriously. The light from the roof fell on his handsome face, as if it was surrounded by a charming halo. The diamond ring was also very dazzling. She actually wanted to take it. She clenched her fists, squatted on the ground, and faced Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing noticed something was wrong. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing, I think it's too fast. 1 month is not enough for us to understand each other. Moreover, every time I think about Tang Xiaozhou's death, I always feel that we are responsible. I want to help him find the culprit of the village before I think about it. Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed. Do you think you need to find the culprit before you think about it, or do you not like me? He asked directly. Baiya's eyes flickered, and she lowered her head. She couldn't say that she liked him, because saying that would hurt him. She also didn't want to say that she didn't like him, because that would hurt him. Gu Lingqing saw that Baiya didn't speak, and his face turned cold. What if I say that if I don't get married, I can only marry someone else? Are you still not willing to marry me? Baiya furrowed her brows. She understood. Gu Lingqing was in such a hurry to marry her, so that the Su family would give up on him. He was ready to bear any storm. If he didn't get married, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to handle the things that would happen in the future, so he couldn't get married. He was cutting off his own path of retreat. Baiya didn't want him to cut off his own path of retreat. It's too rushed. Gu Lingqing gritted his teeth. He finally knew how cold she was. I understand. Gu Lingqing stood up and walked out of the door. Baiya looked at his back, and the words were stuck in his throat. Gu Lingqing, I like you, Baiya said in a colloquial tone as she watched him leave. When he left, she also felt a chill invading her limbs and bones. When Lu Shuang got off work, he opened the door and saw Baiya sitting on the sofa in a daze, looking cold. What's wrong? Lu Shuang asked worriedly. I'm thinking about my past. When I was in my first year of university, there was a school beauty contest. The one who came in first would get a 10,000 yuan prize and a chance to shoot a commercial. I really wanted to get the 10,000 yuan prize money. In order to be the campus belle, I did many things. Performing, dancing, doing talk shows, singing, cheering for the campus hunk in the field, etc., 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 Baiya recalled. Lu Shuang smiled. I didn't expect you to be so crazy in your first year. Yeah, I really want that 10,000 bonus. Baiya smiled bitterly. And the result? How was it? Lu Shuang asked curiously. Someone rigged the votes. I'm not in the top 10. Baiya took a sip of water and swallowed the bitterness in her heart. And, because I wanted it too much, I became a thorn in the eyes of some competitors. They messed with me a few times. It sounds like a tragic past. Never mind, those things are fake. Don't worry about it, Lu Shuang comforted her. I'm thinking that I overestimated myself and coveted something that shouldn't belong to me. That's why I'm worrying about nothing, Baiya judged and took a deep breath. Lu Shuang heard the hidden meaning in her words. Did you quarrel with Gu Lingqing again? Baiya shook her head. Shuang, I'm moving out in 2 days. Why? Oh, we're going to the military. But, we still have to stay here during holidays, Lu Shuang reminded her. Baiya didn't want Lu Shuang to worry, so she didn't say why. She walked into the room and locked the door. Then, she sent the video she took in the private room in Golden Garden to Xing Bachuan. 10 minutes later, Xing Bachuan called and scolded her. How can you be so despicable? Su Jiran is your future brother-in-law. You even seduced your future brother-in-law. Are you still human? If the purpose of this call is to scold me, then we have nothing to talk about. I'll have a good talk with your opponent, Baiya said coldly. How did I give birth to an ingrate like you? I should have aborted you. Xing Bachuan stomped his feet in anger. It's too late for you to say that now. I'm going home in 2 days. Can you arrange a job for me in the Commission for Discipline Inspection? Baiya said coldly. Do you think I'm the one who runs the Commission for Discipline Inspection? You'll have to take the exam to get in. I'll apply for it. I hope you can let me know about the interview. Of course, I think you can let your opponent know too. Baiya curled her lips. I really don't know what you want to do. I'm warning you. If you come back, don't destroy your sister's happiness. Do you understand? Xing Bachuan warned her sternly. Don't worry. I'm not interested in Su Jiran at all. In my eyes, he's not even human. I'll wait for your good news. Baiya hung up the phone. She lay on the bed and closed her eyes. She couldn't fall asleep at all. Instead, she was planning her future. If she wanted to protect others, she had to be strong enough. 10 at night. She was still awake when she heard someone knocking on the door. Lu Shuang's voice came from the door. Chief Gu. Bai Ye immediately got down from the bed and opened the door. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a flushed face. I have a card game today. Lu Shuang quickly left. Bai Ye walked towards Gu Lingqing. He reeked of alcohol. It looked like he had drunk a lot. I'll make you a cup of honey water. Bai Ye turned around to get a cup. Gu Lingqing held her arm and looked at her deeply. Bai Ye, slowly, you'll like me, won't you? You're drunk. Bai Ye tried to pull his hand away. He pulled her into his arms and hugged her tightly. He closed his eyes. Hug me for a while. Bai Ye's heart ached, but she didn't move. I don't feel good. I feel very bad. It's as if there's a rock pressing on me. Bai Ye, what should I do? Gu Lingqing asked. His breathing became heavier, and his breath smelled of alcohol. She couldn't bear to see him like this. Bai Ye turned around, stood on her tiptoes and kissed him on the lips. Gu Lingqing paused for a moment and looked at her deeply. I like you, Bai Ye blurted out. Since she said it, there was no room for regret. This sentence was enough to set off 1,000 ripples. Gu Lingqing kissed her back excitedly. Bai Ye closed her eyes and accepted his kiss. He pressed her down on the sofa and took off her clothes. He was in a hurry when he went in. Bai Ye's muscles were tense. She looked at the lights in a daze. Suddenly, an evil thought popped into her mind. Why don't I be the woman behind Gu Lingqing's back? When she came out, she bit Gu Lingqing's shoulder. She almost couldn't recognize herself. Chapter 104. Midnight. Gu Lingqing's phone rang. He woke up alertly, glanced at Bai Ye who was sleeping soundly, and answered the phone. After walking out of the door, he asked, What's up? Lingqing, something happened. Are you at Bai Ye's house now? Song Shiyu asked anxiously. Yes. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing was confused. Go back to the military now. The disciplinary committee will send someone to Bai Ye's house to find you. Once they find out that you and Bai Ye are sleeping together, you won't be able to explain yourself. What's wrong with me sleeping together with Bai Ye? She's my girlfriend. Gu Lingqing was suspicious. Bai Ye and Su Jiran haven't divorced at all. They set a trap to harm you. You should leave first. Song Shiyu said. Gu Lingqing didn't believe that Bai Ye would harm him, but he believed that Bai Ye might have been deceived. I'm straight. I don't need to run away. Lingqing, please. It's a critical time now. If you go in, your father, me, and our family will all be finished. No one can help us. I know. Gu Lingqing hung up and went back to his room. Bai Ye had already woken up when Gu Lingqing's phone rang. She saw that Gu Lingqing didn't look well and asked worriedly, What happened? The disciplinary committee is looking for me now. My mother said that you and Su Jiran haven't divorced yet. They want me to leave. How is that possible? Su Jiran and I are divorced. Bai Ye was very sure. She took out the marriage and divorce certificates from the bottom of the cabinet and handed them to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing's face darkened. The seal is fake. What? Bai Ye was shocked. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Bai Ye did not have time to think. Since the marriage and divorce certificates were fake, Gu Lingqing couldn't stay here. If he was caught, his future would be ruined. Leave now. Bai Ye opened the window anxiously. She saw that there was no one downstairs. The situation was urgent. Gu Lingqing was a person who could calm down in an emergency. "I'll contact you later." "All right." Gu Lingqing tore off the pillowcase, jumped out of the window, and slid down the pipe. Baiye threw the bed sheets and quilt cover down. After thinking for a moment, she threw her nightgown down as well. She believed that Gu Lingqing would handle it. She changed into new sheets, pillow covers, and pajamas. There was a bang. The outer door burst open. Baiye opened the door and asked sternly, "Who are you people?" The man in the suit said solemnly, "Search. May I know where your search warrant is? If you don't have it, you're trespassing." Baiye said defensively. The man took out a document. "You're Baiye, right? Please help us with our investigation." Baiye saw that those people even went through the rubbish bin. She was glad that she did not use a condom with Gu Lingqing this time. In the end, they went to the bathroom. Those people did not find anyone in the room. They shook their heads at the man in the lead. "Take away the quilt, window cover, and quilt cover in her room and take them away." The man ordered. "I need to change my clothes." Baiye frowned. The man nodded. "I'll give you 2 minutes." Baiye took the clothes and went into the bathroom. She was afraid that there would be evidence left in her body, so she opened the cabinet under the sink. After Lu Shuang was raped by Shen Yin, she was afraid of getting sick, so she bought a few bottles of clear water. Baiye quickly opened a bottle. There was a knock on the door. "Are you done?" "It's been 3 minutes." "Wait." Baiye used more than half of the bottle. She thought that it was enough. She changed her clothes, washed the pants inside, and threw them into the basin. She opened the door and went out. The man in the lead gestured to his subordinates. His subordinates put all the clothes she had changed out of into a plastic bag. "What's the meaning of this?" Baiye was on guard. "It's our job to check and collect evidence. You just need to cooperate," the man in the lead said sternly. Baiye was brought into the car. She looked out of the window. It was dark outside. Just like her current mood. That day, she was talking to Su Jiran about the divorce. Su Jiran was reluctant at first, but he suddenly agreed. Could it be a trap? Also, she could clearly see that the staff was very displeased with Su Jiran at that time. How could it be a fake marriage certificate? Could it be that they were all set up? Su Jiran's behavior during this period of time did not seem like he knew that they were getting married. However, they had decided to divorce so suddenly. Who could have set it up? It was as if there was a cloud of suspicion shrouding them, and a sharp knife was hidden in the cloud of suspicion. Who was hiding in the cloud of suspicion, and who was the one who killed Tang Xiaojiu? She was confused now. Baiye was sent to the hospital directly, and a gynecologist examined her. Fortunately, she had been more careful and cleaned herself up. Otherwise, Gu Lingqing's death would have been conclusive evidence. After she was examined, she was sent to a small dark room. There was a man and a woman opposite her. She did not know them, and they were looking at her seriously. There were 4 cameras on the 4 corners of the wall in the room, and they were all pointed at her. She believed that there were many people watching from the other side of the camera. "What is your relationship with Gu Lingqing from the Special Forces?" the man asked sternly. "Nothing," Baiye said calmly. "Nothing." "Did anyone see you eating together in a restaurant?" the man asked tentatively. "They had an operation to save a hostage. The hostage was pregnant, so I helped. During the mission, Chief Gu protected me, and I treated him to a meal to express my gratitude. I've eaten with many people, haven't you eaten with many people?" Baiye asked. "Someone even saw you staying in the same room with him." "What do you mean by that?" the man said sharply. Bai Ye was not sure if the man was lying to her. Someone. Who? Stop lying. We've already got the evidence. We'll give you a chance to confess. The man slammed the table and threatened. Bai Ye smiled. I think you should arrest that person. He's framing me and destroying my innocence. I want to sue him. Really? May I ask where you were the night before yesterday? Bai Ye's eyes turned cold. She stared at the man who was questioning her. Who is that person? You don't have the right to know. You only have the responsibility to answer our questions. I was at Tangchen village the night before yesterday. I accompanied Chief Gu to investigate a case. We found the murderer, Tang Xiaojiu, but Tang Xiaojiu was killed by a sniper. I suspect that the person you're talking about is the sniper, Bai Ye said seriously. Don't change the topic. We'll report what you said to the higher-ups. We're here to answer your questions. I'm fine with it, Bai Ye retorted. When you were at Tangchen village, did you stay with Gu Lingqing? Did something that shouldn't have happened? Tell us honestly. We have evidence. Bai Ye recalled that they had used a condom that night. Chapter 105. She thought of many answers in an instant in her mind. For example, she could say that Su Jiran was in a fake marriage. Regardless of whether they believed it or not, it wouldn't change her identity as a married woman. She didn't care if her reputation was ruined. She had nothing anyway, and she was afraid of harming Gu Lingqing. We are going to investigate Governor Qing in secret this time. We pretended to be a couple. At that time, Gu Lingqing found out that someone was following him, so he created a false impression, Bai Ye said calmly, looking straight at the person who asked her. Investigating Governor Qing. Why did he ask you to go? Didn't you say that there was nothing between you two? I liked watching Sherlock Holmes since I was a child. My idol is Conan Doyle. He is also a doctor and almost became a forensic doctor. We have crossed paths before. He thinks that I am capable and detective. This time, the investigation is secret, and he doesn't want to bring too many people around him. So, it is safer to bring an outsider like me, Bai Ye explained. Song Shiyu looked at Bai Ye in the camera, and her eyes deepened. Actually, I quite like her. She has a good psychological quality. She is calm and dignified. The key is that she really likes your son. Why don't we not break them up? You are too soft-hearted. When you looked for her during the day, didn't she promise you that she wouldn't contact Lingqing anymore? In the end, Lingqing slept at her place. This woman is scheming and can lie through her teeth. She is definitely not a good woman, Gu Tianhang said with disgust. Even if she lies through her teeth, she is still protecting Lingqing. I don't think she is wrong. Besides, she is a girl who grew up in an orphanage. She has suffered the coldness of human nature and learned how to protect herself. This is not the independence that a little flower in a greenhouse can have. Do you think Su Shaoling has it? Su Shaoling only relies on her father to solve the problem, Song Shiyu retorted. You also know that Su Jing stood up for his daughter. Su Jiran is the president's man, and your son has already touched Su Jiran. The president was already afraid of the Gu family. Fortunately, Su Zheng was there to mediate between them. If Su Zheng helps the president, we will die one by one. Gu Tianhang said angrily. Song Shiyu crossed her arms in front of her chest and turned her face away. I don't think the president dares to touch us. After all, Lingqing is now the leader of the special military. You secretly changed the marriage and divorce certificates in Bai Ye's drawer. As soon as she confronted Su Jiran, she knew that she was divorced. That's why we have to force her to confess now. Even if she confessed, your son would still like her. Do you believe me? Song Shiyu glared at Gu Tianhang. Then hand her over to Su Jing. Let Su Jing force Lingqing to marry Su Shaoling and then release her. Gu Tianhang was furious. She's innocent. Don't you think you've gone too far? Now you changed her marriage and divorce certificates. Then you asked someone to pretend to be a disciplinary officer to catch her. Now you want to kidnap her. Don't make a mistake. Song Shiyu roared. Am I making a mistake? I'm trying to save the whole family. Gu Tianhang pointed at Song Shiyu and said. Saving the family shouldn't be based on hurting her. Song Shiyu pushed Gu Tianhang's hand away. I'm not hurting her. She's hurting us. I won't kill her. I just want her to leave Lingqing. Lingqing will marry Su Shaoling. Everything will go according to our plan. I'll call Su Jing now and ask him to cooperate. Gu Tianhang took out his phone. Enough. Song Shiyu snatched Gu Tianhang's phone. You're sending your son's weakness to others. I think you're old and confused. Let me handle this. I'm angry because of you. Gu Tianhang roared and walked out of the surveillance room. Enough. Stop recording. Turn it off, Song Shiyu said impatiently. She took a deep breath and walked out of the surveillance room. She went to the small dark room. Baiye saw Song Shiyu and was slightly shocked. Then, she seemed to understand everything. Her eyes looked into the darkness at the bottom of the sea. Go out, Song Shiyu ordered. Yes. The two men went out. Baiye pursed her lips and looked at Song Shiyu. Song Shiyu sat down on the chair and was silent for a while. I want to know. Didn't you promise me that you'll leave Lingqing? Why were you with him at night? Baiye frowned slightly. Her eyes were filled with mist. So, those people are not from the disciplinary committee but yours. You broke your promise first. I need time. I've already rejected Gu Lingqing's proposal. You're not only hurting me, but also your son. Baiye was not calm. We're trying to save everyone. Saving everyone. You wanted to kill Tang Xiaojiu. You've been following me to save everyone, and you even made me and Su Jiran fake divorce. Let me tell you, I've slept with your son. Just because I didn't divorce him, your son is the one who's going to die. What am I? I'm just an ordinary citizen. It doesn't matter to me. Now that my affair has been exposed, I'll just move to another place to live. But your son will be ruined in your hands. Baiye stood up excitedly and broke the lamp on the table. Song Shiyu clenched her fists and explained, we haven't been following you all this time. You and Su Jiran are really divorced, but we've changed your family's marriage certificate and divorce certificate. We didn't kill Tang Xiaojiu, and we've been cleaning up the evidence you left behind. Tang Xiaojiu might have been killed by Su Zhang's men. Now we're also looking for the murderer, so that we can catch Su Zhang's weakness. Baiye, if you really love Lingqing, help us. Help you with what? Admit that I had sex with Gu Lingqing. I've never seen a parent who would hurt their own child like this. Baiye stared at Song Shiyu with bloodshot eyes. I'll take you to a place these few days. When you come back, Lingqing and Su Shaoling have already married. I need your cooperation. Do you have any keepsake? Song Shiyu asked with flickering eyes. Kidnapping. Baiye immediately understood what Song Shiyu meant. I'm sorry, but we all want Lingqing to have a successful career. Baiye turned her face away, and tears flowed down her face quietly. I don't have a keepsake. If you don't have a keepsake, then cut off one of her fingers. If one finger doesn't work, then cut off her hand. If one hand doesn't work, then cut off her leg. Gu Tianhang pushed the door open and said fiercely. He wasn't joking. I didn't do anything wrong. Bai Ye looked at Gu Tianhang in disbelief. I'll handle it. Take her away, Gu Tianhang said impatiently. Song Shiyu had a bad feeling. She held Gu Tianhang's arm and said, Tianhang, I'll handle this. Don't hurt her. Chapter 106. If you dare to hurt her, I'll divorce you. I mean what I say. Song Shiyu shouted at the door. Bai Ye heard it. She turned around and looked at Song Shiyu, whose eyes were red and fists clenched. She saw helplessness and pity in Song Shiyu's eyes, but no anger or hatred. The door closed in front of her eyes. Gu Tianhang's men put a blindfold on her. It was pitch black in front of her. She couldn't see anything. She was being dragged away. She was very calm. She didn't make a fuss or struggle. Because she knew it was useless to make a fuss or struggle. She would only die faster. 2 hours later. Her blindfold was taken off. She was surrounded by walls, and there was only a 1 meter wide and 2 meter high iron door. There was no bed, no bathroom, not even a bottle of water. There was only a table and a chair. A 50-watt light bulb on the top was emitting a faint light. A man wearing a mask put a few pieces of paper on the table and ordered, if you want to live, copy the words on this paper. Bai Ye knew what to do. She knew it was Gu Tianhang who kidnapped her. After Gu Tianhang got what he wanted, he wouldn't let her live to see the sun rise the next day. I want to see Gu Lingqing's mother. Otherwise, I won't listen to anything you say. Bai Ye said resolutely. You're courting death. The leader slapped Bai Ye's face. Bai Ye turned her face away. She twitched the corner of her mouth and looked at the masked man coldly. Do you think I can live? Since I'm going to die, why should I be afraid of death? The leader slapped Bai Ye's face again. Bai Ye didn't make a sound. The leader was furious. He took out a knife and pressed Bai Ye's right hand on the table. He threatened, are you going to write or not? Bai Ye looked at the leader fiercely. She pursed her lips. Her eyes were full of determination and hatred. Her eyes were too sharp. The leader was terrified. He slashed down with the knife. Bai Ye only felt a sharp pain assaulting her in an overwhelming manner. The fingers were connected to the heart. It hurts too much. She pressed the base of her little finger tightly. Her face was pale without a trace of blood, but her eyes were still sharp. The man in the lead was also shocked by Bai Ye's aura. She didn't even make a sound. He went out to make a report. Bai Ye lay on the table, his forehead covered in cold sweat as he stared at the red bloodstain on the table. She had a total of 2 relationships. For a while, her husband abandoned her like a worn-out shoe, hurt her at will, until her heart was full of holes. There was a period when she loved him, but she had no choice but to part with him. Her life was hanging by a thread, and she didn't have a good ending. At the end of the day, she was too weak to be respected. Therefore, she was like a fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. If she could make it out alive this time, she would first make herself stronger. The man in the lead entered, followed by 2 people in white coats and masks. They stopped Bai Ye's bleeding, gave him an infusion, and gave him emergency treatment. Manager Song will be here soon. The leader said fiercely. 2 hours later, Song Shiyu walked in. Bai Ye lay on the chair, unconscious. She took a look at Bai Ye's right hand. Her right little finger was gone. After treatment, it was bandaged, and she was receiving an infusion. You guys are too much. Hurry up and prepare a bed, water, and 24-hour medical care. Song Shiyu ordered. Yes. The leader went out. Baya opened her eyes in a daze. Because of the fever, her face was unusually red, but her lips were very dry, and the skin was broken. She looked very pathetic. Song Shiyu's eyes were red, and she held Baya's hand, apologizing, "I'm sorry, Tianhang has become obsessed. I really didn't expect that he would ask someone to cut off your little finger." Baya sneered, pulled her hand out, leaned back on the chair, and said indifferently, "You husband and wife, one is playing the good cop, and the other is playing the bad cop. Your goal is the same. If you want to save me, there are 100 ways to do it. Why do you have to pretend?" Song Shiyu frowned, and was actually speechless. "No matter what, the damage has been done. I hope I can make it up to you," Song Shiyu said. "There's no need to make it up to me. I just want to get out of here alive," Baya said coldly, scrutinizing Song Shiyu's expression. "Don't worry, I can promise you that, but can you promise that you won't betray us?" Song Shiyu said worriedly. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth, and said sarcastically, "Do you think Gu Lingqing can't find out that you did it? I know he can definitely find out, and he will understand our good intentions. I don't believe he will do anything to us," Song Shiyu was very sure. "So, if I tell you, nobody will believe me. He won't do anything to you, but I won't live to see the sun rise the next day. It's meaningless for me to tell you," Baya said in despair. "Write it down, and you can copy it. I promise you that you can get out of here alive," Song Shiyu promised. Baya stared at Song Shiyu. "I believe that Mrs. Gu is a sentimental person. You should understand that if I die because of Gu Lingqing, he will never forget me for the rest of his life. Even if he doesn't do anything to you, he will never forgive you. But it's different if I'm alive. Quarrels, life, conflicts, and desperate situations will consume our already weak relationship again and again. I will let you live," Song Shiyu said firmly. Baya felt that she had said everything she could say, so she picked up the pen. Her hands were trembling, and her words were crooked. She could not write at all. "This won't do." Song Shiyu stood up, called Gu Tianheng, and said angrily, "Look at what you have done. You wanted her to write, so you chopped off her right little finger. How is she going to write now? Your handwriting is also different from before. Have you lost your mind? I didn't chop it. Let her record it and read it according to the paper," Gu Tianheng said angrily. Song Shiyu hung up the phone and looked at Baya. "I will record it for you. After Lingqing gets married, he will send you out." Baya looked at the content on the paper, and the corners of her mouth twitched. She tasted her salty tears, but her eyes were firm. "Record it." Song Shiyu could not bear it. "I'm sorry." She took out her phone and showed it to Baya. Baya stared at the phone and said calmly, "Gu Lingqing, I don't want to die." She raised her injured hand. "Do as they say, save me. They said that if you don't agree, they will chop off one of my fingers every day. After my fingers are chopped off, they will chop off my toes. After my toes are chopped off, they will chop off my limbs. After my limbs are chopped off, they will chop off my facial features." Song Shiyu frowned and turned her face away. Baya was silent for 10 seconds, and her tears flowed quietly. "I beg you, let me go." Song Shiyu turned off the video. "You are a good girl, but Lingqing is not suitable for you. You will find a suitable man in the future, and if you need help, come and find me." Baya closed her eyes, and her head was heavy. She leaned on her arm. Once again, she felt how small, helpless, and desperate she was. Chapter 107. When Baya woke up, she asked Song Shiyu to look at the clock. The clock was placed on the table. She clearly knew that she had been locked up in the small dark room for 7 days. In those 7 days, she didn't say a word. On the morning of the 8th day, she was blindfolded and taken to a van with no license plate. The van went around and she changed cars a few times. After 3 hours, she was thrown out of the van. Baya took off the blindfold. The light at 10 o'clock was very dazzling. She couldn't open her eyes at all. She closed them again and slowly opened them. What she saw was a fountain. In the fountain, there was a statue of a woman holding a child. It was very ironic. The trees were very green, the grass was very green, and the flowers were very red. She was still alive. Baya saw that she was near a park. She walked to the side of the road and got into a taxi. "Sir, I don't have money. Can you help me make a call?" "I'll get someone to pick me up," Baya said softly. The driver saw that Baya's face was frighteningly pale and she was wearing a light blue dress. The dress was wrinkled and had blood stains on it. Her hand was bandaged up. "Have you been robbed or imprisoned?" "Do you need to call the police?" the driver asked warmly. Baya shook her head, her eyes were red. "It's useless for me to call the police." "What's the number you want to call?" "You can call it yourself." The driver passed the phone to Baya. "Thank you," Baya said. She dialed Lu Shuang's number. Lu Shuang picked up. "Shuang, I'm Baya. I'll go back later and I don't have money with me. Please help me pay," Baya said softly. "Xiao Bai." Lu Shuang was very emotional. "Where did you go?" "I called the police but I couldn't find you." "Are you trying to scare me to death?" "I'm fine. You can go to the police and log off. I'll be back soon. I'm hanging up now." "I borrowed the driver's phone," Baya said and hung up, not giving Lu Shuang too much time to ask questions. Half an hour later, she arrived at the entrance of the apartment building. Lu Shuang was already waiting at the door. When Baya got out of the car, Lu Shuang paid the driver. Seeing the wound on Baya's hand, he widened his eyes and asked worriedly, "What happened to your hand?" "What happened?" "You were imprisoned, weren't you?" "Su Jiran did it." Lu Shuang was very excited. "I'm going to kill her." "Cool girl, it's not him. I want to take a bath now. I haven't taken a bath for 7 days. Smell it, it's stinky." Baya smiled. That smile, however, was as miserable as a pear blossom. "Who did it?" Lu Shuang held Baya's shoulder. His tears flowed down uncontrollably. He raised his voice. "Who are those people?" "Baya, you can't stay silent anymore. I'll help you. You can't let them get away with it." Baya was very calm. Her expression was indifferent. "This matter has passed. Don't ask about it anymore. If you treat me as a friend." Baya walked towards the elevator. Lu Shuang followed behind Baya anxiously. Could it be Su Shaoling who did it? Many things have happened these few days. Gu Lingqing is actually engaged to Su Shaoling. Does this have anything to do with your kidnapping? Engaged? Isn't it a marriage? Baya looked at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang kicked the rubbish bin angrily. Who is this Gu Lingqing? You were kidnapped and he's engaged to another woman. He's so heartless. Baya looked down and waited for the elevator. Wait. Could it be that someone used you to threaten Gu Lingqing? That's why he got engaged. It must be Su Shaoling. This person can keep a man's body, but she can't keep a man's heart. Don't talk about this anymore. Baya's tone was a little more serious. Now that you're back, go and sue her. Tell them that she kidnapped you. You have Gu Lingqing backing you up. What are you afraid of? At most, we'll fight to the death. I said, don't talk about it anymore. Baya said sternly. Lu Shuang was shocked by Baya's tone. She didn't come back to her senses for a while. She looked at Baya blankly. Baya knew that she shouldn't be so fierce to Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang did it for her own good. I know what I should do. Don't worry, Baya said softly. Lu Shuang cried. He hugged Baya and said with heartache, why are you so miserable? It's not enough that Su Jiran hurt you. Now Gu Lingqing is involved. It's me. I'm demanding things that shouldn't be mine. Baya patted Lu Shuang's back. She looked at the air calmly as if she was relieved after going through life and death. In the future, it won't be worse than now. Life will only get better. Yes, it will definitely get better. Baya went back to her room and took her clothes to the washroom. Do you want me to help you wash up? Lu Shuang was worried. Baya shook her head. The wound has already scabbed. What should be healed is already healing. I'm also a doctor. I know what to do. It's okay. Don't worry. She went into the washroom and washed up. When she was putting on her clothes, she heard a hurried knock on the door. Lu Shuang went to open the door. Gu Lingqing rushed in and said in a choked and emotional voice, where's Baya? Haven't you hurt Baya enough? Lu Shuang pushed Gu Lingqing anxiously. She couldn't push Gu Lingqing away at all. Baya came out of the washroom. Gu Lingqing looked at her. His deep eyes were filled with tears. He didn't hide the turbulence in his heart. He hugged her tightly. It's good that you're fine. I'm sorry that I didn't protect you well. Baya put her hands down. She didn't hug him back. Her eyes were misty as she looked forward. Her heart was numb from the pain. Gu Lingqing had lost a lot of weight. He almost went crazy when he saw the video of her. In the past 7 days, he didn't sleep for a single day. He didn't even close his eyes. He searched everywhere. He searched like crazy. He almost killed Su Shaoling. He smashed Gu Tianhang's office and destroyed all the furniture in the Gu family's villa. He looked at her severed finger and chopped off his little finger as well. Gu Tianhang forced him to marry Su Shaoling. Song Shiyu forced him to marry Su Shaoling. Su Jing forced him to marry Su Shaoling. Almost everyone around him forced him to marry Su Shaoling. He fought with them with his wits and courage. Every day, he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. He was afraid to see another finger of hers. He told everyone. If she was cut off, he would cut off one of his own. What made him even more desperate was that he found out that it was his father and mother who kidnapped Baya. In his anger and grief, he got a turning point. He was engaged to Su Shaoling. His parents had to let Baya go. Otherwise, he and Baya would die together. In the end, he succeeded in the negotiation. They got engaged yesterday. Baya was released today. Gu Lingqing, don't look for me anymore, Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing clenched his fists. The blood vessels in his neck were popping. He understood that if he continued to tangle with Baya, he would kill Baya. He had to be strong and invincible to protect her. Gu Lingqing's voice was choked with sobs. Chapter 108. Baya stared straight ahead, and a crack flashed across her calm eyes. All the pain and unwillingness were hidden in this crack, and it became pitch black. However, Gu Lingqing didn't see her pain because he was holding her. He looked at her affectionately, helplessly, apologetically, and heartache. I'm sorry, Gu Lingqing choked with sobs. Baya lowered her eyes, and her long eyelashes covered the window of her heart. Her voice was as light as autumn orchids. I won't forgive you. Gu Lingqing was stunned. His Adam's apple moved, and he swallowed his bitterness. Her hatred, her complaints, he would bear all of it. Fine, my life is waiting for you to take it at any time. Go. Bai Yi said coldly. Gu Lingqing knitted his brows tightly, standing still without moving. Go. Bai Yi looked up at him. Her gaze was resolute, piercingly cold, and piercingly cold. He didn't even have the chance to ask her to stay. He turned around, opened the door, and left. Xiao Bai, did you see that? His right little finger is gone. He must have cut it off for you, Lu Shuang choked with sobs. How could Bai Yi not see it? She saw it as soon as he came in. However, she had no choice. During that period of time, she felt like she was dying. She knew that he felt the same way. He had fought for his marriage to become an engagement. He had tried his best. She didn't blame him. She only blamed them for being too weak. That, I won't forgive you, was a reminder to him and to herself. She didn't want their love to be a sacrifice to protect each other. She wanted to be strong. I know what to do in the future, Bai Yi said with certainty. Is there no way at all? Lu Shuang felt sorry for them. I think Gu Lingqing really likes you. Yes. Bai Yi said and looked at Lu Shuang firmly. I want to apply for this year's discipline inspection. I want to enter the cabinet. I want to become an important person. She also went out. Lu Shuang was worried about Bai Yi, so he followed them. Bai Yi bought a new phone and went to the business office to apply for her old phone number. She called Xing Bachuan. I'm Bai Yi. Have you made up your mind? Why didn't you pick up my calls? Xing Bachuan reproached. Whether I take it or not doesn't change your decision. What's your decision? Bai Yi asked coldly. Let's talk after we meet. Where are you now? I'm free at noon, Xing Bachuan said. Let's meet in your office building, Dad. Bai Yi hung up the phone. Lu Shuang looked at Bai Yi worriedly. She knew that Bai Yi had a mentally ill mother who was locked up in a nursing home. She vaguely knew that the relationship between Bai Yi's father and Bai Yi was not very good. If Bai Yi didn't say, she would never ask. Little Bai, what do you want to do? Don't scare me. If you need my help, just tell me. You're my best friend. I'm willing to do anything for you, Lu Shuang said worriedly. I'm going back to that home. Thank you, cool girl. I'm fine. I've said it before. From now on, I'll get better day by day. Bai Yi smiled. Her smile was very beautiful. However, Lu Shuang knew that Bai Yi had a wound in her heart. Perhaps only Gu Lingqing could heal this wound. Then I'll go with you. If they bully you, I'll help you. Lu Shuang patted his chest. If I find someone to accompany me, that will weaken my confidence. I alone can be invincible. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'll look for you if there's a problem. Bai Yi held Lu Shuang's hand. Lu Shuang found that her hand was very cold, like a block of ice. He held Bai Yi's hand tightly, trying to pass the temperature of his hand to her. The late text messages on Bai Yi's phone kept ringing. Bai Yi glanced at them. There were messages from Lu Shuang, Xing Bachuan, Su Jiran, and Gu Lingqing. Seeing the caller ID of Gu Lingqing, Bai Yi's eyes flashed with pain. She didn't look at the contents of their messages, nor did she call them back. She deleted all of them with one click. Before she went to see Xing Bachuan, she put on makeup and tied her hair up on top of her head. She looked mature and capable. Lu Shuang leaned against the door and looked at Bai Yi. He felt that the current Bai Yi was completely different from the past. The previous Bai Yi was cold, indifferent, and aloof from worldly affairs. When they played, Baya would at most watch them play. Occasionally, she would laugh quietly at the side. She was calm and serene. Even though Su Jiran had injured her to the point of being riddled with holes, she was like a hedgehog, curling herself up to protect herself. Right now, she was flamboyant and sharp, like a sharp knife that could cut through anything. Even her gaze gave people a feeling of sharpness. It's good to fight for what you want, but don't hurt yourself, Lu Shuang said worriedly. Baya looked at herself in the mirror. I don't want to hurt them. I just want what I want, Baya said with certainty. Is it Gu Lingqing that you want? Lu Shuang said knowingly. Baya squinted at Lu Shuang. In fact, when fate is unfair, you can know what you want the most. At least, I have a direction to work towards. Don't worry about me. I will live a good life, because I have nothing to lose. Baya smiled. Lu Shuang looked at Baya's broken finger. She didn't need to ask to know what inhuman torture Baya had gone through. Anyway, I only have one thing to say. I will always stand by your side and support you, Lu Shuang said with red eyes. Baya nodded. She thanked them for taking away Gu Lingqing. Without Gu Lingqing, Baya could be invincible. She took a taxi to Xing Beishan's office. She walked to the front desk. She smiled. Hello, I'm Baya. I want to see Governor Xing. I have an appointment, Baya said calmly. Okay. The front desk called Xing Beishan's secretary's office. Xing Beishan's secretary received the call and immediately went downstairs to greet him. The governor has been waiting for you for a long time, the secretary said respectfully. Seeing the secretary's attitude, Baya knew Xing Beishan's final decision. She followed the secretary to the elevator. With a ding, the elevator door opened. Su Jiran walked out. He was surprised to see Baya here. Where have you been? I called you these days, but you didn't pick up. You broke your promise. Su Jiran stared at Baya coldly. I'm sorry, there are some things that I can't do. If you don't suggest waiting for me, I'll treat you to coffee after I'm done, Baya said lightly. Su Jiran felt that Baya was different. Gu Lingqing and Su Shaoling are engaged. Do you know about this? Su Jiran asked. If I don't know about such big news, wouldn't I be ignorant? Baya said calmly. Chapter 109. His gaze landed on her hand and his eyes narrowed. He grabbed her arm and raised it, asking in surprise, what happened to your hand? Where's your little finger? Baya retracted her hand without batting an eyelid. I've paid for some mistakes. A little finger has allowed me to see reality clearly. It's worth it. Gu Tianheng. Su Jing. Su Shaoling. Who did it? Su Jiran guessed. No matter who did it, it won't change the outcome. I have something to do, I'll contact you later. Baya walked past Su Jiran and entered the elevator. Su Jiran watched as the elevator closed in front of him and pain flashed through his shrewd eyes. He and Baya had been married for 3 years. He used to think of ways to hurt her, to make her suffer. Seeing her sad gave him a perverted sense of satisfaction. Because she was Xing Bachuan's daughter. But now, he was very angry to see her hurt so badly by someone else. He wanted to find that person and chop off his fingers. Baya could only be bullied by him alone. Baya entered Xing Bachuan's office. Xing Bachuan glared at Baya unkindly. He sat on the throne of power and glanced at the seat opposite him. Baya walked over, pulled out a chair and sat down in front of Xing Bachuan. Very good, are you playing psychological warfare with me? Xing Bachuan asked sinisterly, scrutinizing Bai Ye's expression. Bai Ye smiled. She had been kidnapped this week. They had originally agreed to let Xing Bachuan reply within 2 days. In these 2 days, Xing Bachuan had thought of countless ways and countless possibilities. He hadn't decided to accept her. But she had suddenly disappeared and no one knew where she was. He was paranoid. He was worried that she had gone to join his opponent. He had many opponents and he was guessing which opponent Bai Ye would join. They would do this to him. He thought of many possibilities. The mistakes he had done in the past made him anxious, and the more he thought about it, the more afraid he became. Bai Ye had been missing for 7 days, and he had suffered from insomnia for 7 days. No matter how he thought about it, it was better to have a powerful helper than a powerful enemy. "Dad, what's the outcome of the war in your heart?" Bai Ye asked. "I want to know your motive. How can I be sure that you don't want to harm me? After all, I hurt your mother." Xing Bachuan stared at Bai Ye warily. "Bai Bing is my mother, and you are my father. Both of you are my family. You hurt my mother, and my mother hurt me. If it wasn't for the people next door who saved me, I would have been killed by Bai Bing. All these years, I've had a hard time. The pressure of work, the pressure of life, the pressure of marriage, has been overwhelmed. I want to live a good life. No matter how I thought about it, only my father could give me a good life. Why would I harm you? I'm not stupid. Harming you is the same as harming myself. Not only will I not harm you, I will even help you." "Dad, Jinyan is your daughter, and so am I," Bai Ye's tone softened. "Okay." Xing Bachuan was convinced by Bai Ye. "Your Auntie Chang has agreed to let you come back. If you want to work at the Commission for Discipline Inspection, you will have to rely on yourself for the written test. I've already talked to the interview. I will fight a good battle." Bai Ye stood up. "I'm warning you, don't play tricks on me. I can give you a good life, but I can also destroy your good life," Xing Bachuan warned. "I'm going back to pack my luggage now. See you tonight, Dad." Bai Ye turned around, leaving only a cold silhouette behind. She walked out of the elevator. She didn't expect Su Jiran to be waiting for her downstairs. She walked towards Su Jiran. "Who chopped off your hand?" Su Jiran asked coldly. Bai Ye looked at Su Jiran. His expression was serious, and his eyes reflected the 2 little girls. "You want to stand up for me?" Bai Ye asked in return. Su Jiran curled his lips, looking extremely devilish. "What do you think? My, Su Jiran's, ex-wife isn't someone anyone can bully." "Ha!" Bai Ye sneered. She really didn't believe that he would stand up for her. It was just sweet words to coax a little girl. She was no longer a little girl. "Su, Shaoling." Bai Ye said these 3 words, turned around, and walked towards the door. "Didn't you say you were going to treat me to coffee?" Su Jiran said to Bai Ye's back. Bai Ye didn't even turn her head. Su Jiran chased after her and grabbed her arm. He was a little annoyed as he ordered, "You already owe me 6 hours. You have to have coffee with me now." "Why do I owe you 6 hours?" Bai Ye crossed her arms in front of her chest and asked. Su Jiran furrowed his brows, and his eyes were filled with displeasure. "Bai Ye, what do you mean by this? Are you playing dumb with me?" "Mr. Su, I don't want to abide by the verbal agreement between us. I suddenly feel that I don't have to abide by it," Bai Ye said lazily. "Aren't you afraid that I'll release the video of Lu Shuang?" Su Jiran warned as he looked at her with a sharp gaze. Bai Ye shrugged. "Release it. Do whatever you want. If you release it, Lu Shuang might become the crown princess. I have a friend who's the crown princess. It'll be a great honor." Bai Ye smiled heartlessly. Shen Yen has many women outside. Are you really going to push your friend into the fire? Su Jiran looked at Baiya anxiously. He felt that the current Baiya was like a rose with thorns. She was very flirtatious, cold, and sharp. Aren't other men like the fire? Baiya asked. Rather than a man who will change his mind at any time, why not a man who will never change his mind? Just release the video. Baiya moved closer to Su Jiran. Su Jiran unconsciously moved back a little. Her sharpness was too strong. Shuangniu hates evil. If she has a good life in the future, she might let you go. But Baiya's gaze became sharp. She stared at Su Jiran and warned, if she doesn't have a good life in the future, His Highness is the only son of the president. Lu Shuang will become the first husband of our country sooner or later. Take a guess. How will she kill you? Su Jiran was silent. He knew that Baiya was eloquent. He used to be so angry at her that he was speechless. But now, Baiya was fierce and sharp. Fierce, sharp, every frown and every smile captivated one's soul, and carried an enigmatic charm. He seemed to be immersed in her beautiful eyes. He couldn't get out of it. Baiya looked at him and said nothing. Good luck, Mr. Su. She turned around and walked towards the outside. Su Jiran stood rooted to the ground. He regretted the divorce. What should he do? Baiya returned to Lu Shuang's place. Lu Shuang was still at home, sitting on the sofa. When she saw Baiya, she immediately stood up and looked at Baiya worriedly. Baiya was betting that Su Jiran would not release the video of Lu Shuang. But she didn't know if it would affect Lu Shuang in the future. She had to draw a clear line between her and Lu Shuang. I'm leaving, Baiya said. Chapter 110. Baiya left the house. Su Jiran held her hand and walked to his car. Baiya was annoyed. She shook off Su Jiran's hand and shouted, Su Jiran, what do you want? What do you want? You've been studying in your room these days. You've given up your major and career just to go to the Discipline Inspection Commission. Who do you want to discipline? Su Jiran asked tentatively. What are you afraid of? It's fine as long as it's not you, isn't it? Baiya's eyes were cold. You're not thinking of Su Jing, are you? Baiya turned her face away. Ha! Su Jiran chuckled and leaned against the car door lazily. Baiya, you're ambitious. But don't you know that you're hitting a rock with an egg? Su Zheng is the head of the Discipline Inspection Commission. He can crush you with one word. Besides, his rank is not something that a small local discipline inspection commission can investigate. Don't be silly. Su Zheng and Gu Tianhang are two mountains that cannot be shaken. Su Jiran reminded her. I don't think I need to report to you what I'm going to do. Baiya turned around and was about to leave. Su Jiran pressed the back of Baiya's head and pulled her in front of him. He aimed at Baiya's lips and kissed her. Baiya was furious. She slapped Su Jiran's face. I'm telling you, I'll definitely succeed. Baiya said confidently and walked forward. Su Jiran wiped the corner of his mouth. He narrowed his eyes and frowned. Even though he had just touched Baiya's lips, he could feel a strong feeling in his body. He wanted her. Now, she only had a physiological reaction to Baiya. Baiya arrived at the Discipline Inspection Commission. She reapplied her lipstick in the washroom. There weren't many people in the Discipline Inspection Commission. The director introduced her to his subordinates. She went through the pre-employment procedures and took the oath. Baiya didn't waste any time and went straight to the director's office. What's wrong? Baiya. The director looked at Baiya, puzzled. I remember that the Commission for Discipline Inspection has a rule that allows cross-city and cross-provincial discipline inspection and supervision, Baya said. To prevent local officials from protecting each other, there's indeed a regulation. The director nodded. I want to transfer to Jinyang City, Baya said. The bureau chief looked at Baya and asked suspiciously, you want to go to Jinyang City so much? Do you have any news? Baya nodded. I have news. If I go to Jinyang City and make a contribution, it will be considered a political achievement for the director, right? I can't decide which province or city to send someone to supervise. I need to apply to the higher-ups. Also, I need to give a detailed reason for the specific province or city. Can you give me the reason? I can't decide which province or city to transfer someone to. I need to apply to the higher-ups. Also, I need a reason. Can you give me the reason? I don't need to apply to Deputy Chief Su. He's the director of the Discipline Inspection Commission. So, you're saying that I can go as long as the director gives his approval? Baya asked. Theoretically, yes. But he's the same rank as your father. He might not give face to your father. The director revealed that he knew Baya's identity. I'll make a call. Baya nodded and left the director's office. She had read a book before. There was a young man who was blocked by a huge rock. He pushed, pried, and smashed the rock. But he couldn't move it. Then, he was at his wit's end. He started asking for help. With the help of many people, the rock was finally moved. When you're in a desperate situation and you can't solve it yourself, you have to ask for help. Maybe you don't even know if the other party can help you. But, at least if they ask, there's hope. Baya called Song Shiyu. Previously, Song Shiyu said that she would make it up to her, but she refused. That's how people are. Sometimes, backbone is like a fart in the face of reality. It's insignificant. Song Shiyu was surprised when she received Baya's call. After all, Baya disappeared for 2 months. She asked someone to check. Baya went to Xing Bachuan's house. She found out Baya's other identity. She was the daughter of Xing Bachuan's ex-wife. At the same time, she checked Baya's past. Hello, Song Shiyu greeted her politely. You told me that I can look for you if I need help. Do you mean it? Baya asked uncertainly. If it's within my ability, Song Shiyu promised. I'm working in the Discipline Inspection Department now. I want to be transferred to the Discipline Inspection Department in Jinyang City. I need a director in the Discipline Inspection Department to take charge of this. Can you help me talk to him? Baya asked calmly. Sure, it's not a big deal. I'll call you in the afternoon after I'm done, Song Shiyu agreed readily. Thank you. Baya was about to hang up. Did Gu Lingqing contact you? Song Shiyu asked immediately. Hearing the name Gu Lingqing, Baya's heart still ached. She lowered her eyes and said calmly, he won't contact me. Don't worry, Mrs. Gu. He must know that we kidnapped you. Now he doesn't care about us. He doesn't answer our calls and doesn't even go home. Tian Hang went to the military to look for him, but he refused to see her. I heard that he went to take on a dangerous mission again. He's going to kill himself, Song Shiyu said in distress. Baya's heart ached even more. She closed her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks quietly. If she hadn't been strong enough to know the news of Gu Lingqing's death, she wouldn't have lived on alone. He was the motivation for her to be strong, to work hard, and to be reckless. Mrs. Gu, there's nothing I can do. Baya's words were still cold, without any warmth. Besides, I don't know what you mean by saying this. I misspoke. I'm sorry. I'll call for help now. I'll contact you later. As soon as Song Shiyu finished speaking, Baiya hung up the phone. She was caught off guard. She thought it was reasonable. She had hurt the girl so much. What did she want Baiya to do now? Song Shiyu was reliable. At 11:00 in the afternoon, Baiya received a call from Song Shiyu. They've agreed. You can ask your director to approve the application today. You can go to Jinyang City for discipline inspection tomorrow, Song Shiyu said with a smile. Thank you. Baiya was still cold. She hung up the phone and went straight to the director's office. Director, the higher-ups have agreed. You can apply now, Baiya said. The director didn't think that Xing Bachuan had the ability to get help from the higher-ups so quickly. This Baiya had a more powerful force supporting her than Xing Bachuan. He didn't want to offend Baiya and ruin his future, so he applied immediately. I've contacted the director in Jinyang City. I'll ask someone to book a plane ticket for you now. Tomorrow, they'll send someone to pick you up. If there's any situation, report it in time. I'll try my best to cooperate with you, the director said politely. Baiya nodded and walked out of the director's office. She took the second step smoothly. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.